In the land of pixels and streams, there's a jolly figure, or so it seems, with a belly round and a heart so grand. He's the YouTube grifter, the joy of the land. Oh, he's as fast as Santa, but he comes all year, bringing laughter, joy, and a bit of cheer. Not just once in December, but every single day. Our YouTube grifter in his own special way. He's got a knack for stories, both wild and true. With a twinkle in his eye, he'll entertain you. From baking fails to epic wins, he's the gift that keeps on giving. Let the fun begin. Oh, he's as fat as Santa, but he comes all year, bringing laughter, joy, and a bit of cheer. Not just once in December, but every single day. Our YouTube grifter in his own special way. He's got around your screens, and don't be shy. He's got a tale to tell and a pie in the sky. With every click and every view, he's spreading holiday spirit just for you. Oh, he's as fat as Santa, but he comes all year, bringing laughter, joy, and a bit of cheer. Not just once in December, but every single day. Our YouTube grifter in his own special way. So here's to the grifter, our digital friend. May his joy and laughter never end. With a ho, ho, ho and a hearty cheer. Merry Christmas to all and a Happy New Year.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. And let's do it to it, as they say, the young kids. Hey, Mo.
Hello.
Is this the same courtroom from the murder trial?
This one looks a lot nicer.
I was about to say, this one looks a lot more spacious.
Oh, thanks, Jar. I got it on Amazon. A little fireplace.
Oh, I know. You sent me the link, and I've been putting it in and out of my cart.
It's amazing. I love it.
Why can we hear them shuffling paper, but not what the judge is saying?
Because they don't know how to use mics.
2023 GS 103983 felony DUI great bodily injury as indicted. 2023 GS 103984 felony DUI great bodily injury as indicted. And reckless homicide 2023 GS 103985. As indicted. Are there any recommendations? Well, first, who's appearing on behalf of the state?
Timothy Finch on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Is there anyone else who will be assisting you in the presentation of this case?
Not in the presentation of the case. Then the secret help in the preparation of the case.
And Ms. Wilson is present as well.
That's correct.
Who's appearing on behalf of the defense?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Nathan Williams on behalf of Ms. Komoroski and Chris Michio will be handling the
I'm
part.
sorry, I'm gonna need you to speak up louder. This is a vacuous courtroom. We're not, I know you soft spoken, but if you can speak up a little bit more loud, a little bit louder for me and I.
Or maybe they don't have mics at all.
Nathan Williams, and who did you say would be assisting you?
Can't hear anything.
And how's Chris spelled?
CHRIS, Your Honor.
And your last name, sir?
GRAM.
Have you tried feeding it?
ICCIONI on behalf of Jamie Komoroski.
Thank you very much. Are there any recommendations and negotiations, Mr. Finch?
No, Your Honor.
And does Ms. Komoroski have any record?
No criminal record, Your Honor.
Have you explained to your client when you've said, which is better for you? I mean,
She put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
The podium's closer, it's probably easier for the full board. to
Stress
hear
will do that to you.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams, have you explained to your client the charge, the punishment for rights?
I have,
Do you believe she understands the charges, the punishment for rights?
I do not,
Does she wish to plead guilty or not guilty?
guilty,
Do you agree with that decision?
I do not,
Has she ever been evaluated to determine her competency?
she has not done.
She's been out for a year.
Have you explained
Oh,
to
for
her
almost a
the
year.
Violent and serious classification.
I have not.
And have you also explained to her the collateral consequences of these offenses, that being the suspension of her driver's license or the revocation of her driver's license, as well as the requirement of any interlock devices?
We have not. We have not.
Ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth? You can put your right hand down. I'll need you to speak a little more loudly for me, please. State your full name for the record.
Jamie Lee Komoroski,
How old are you?
27 years old.
What was the last grade you finished?
I have a bachelor's degree
In what discipline?
science. I have a bachelor in science and business administration.
And where did you get that degree?
Coastal Carolina University.
And how long ago was that? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I graduated in 2020, so
That's okay, the year is fine. That's what I needed. Thank you. Are you married?
no,
Do you have any children?
no,
Are you employed?
not currently, but
What was your last job?
I was working for, I was doing digital marketing, and I was also doing web design.
And how long were you employed in that capacity?
Web design for about 2 months, digital marketing for about 3.
Are you on probation or parole?
Only what, 5 months?
Ever been treated for the abuse of alcohol, drugs,
Nanya, we'll figure that out in the end. No spoilers.
or mental illness?
I'm now in AA.
How long have you been?
Oh,
in
we
AA?
don't know.
I started AA as soon as it was available to me in the jail.
And so what year was that?
That was 2023.
Are you still engaged in AA?
Yes, very much.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 72 hours?
Yes.
What have you had?
My anxiety medication,
And what is that?
Lexapro,
How often do you take Lexapro?
2 times.
Lexapro.
as needed.
Does that affect your ability to understand where you are or what you're doing?
No.
Oh, if you don't know this, this is the lady who very, very drunk, 0.261 BAC, drove 65 miles per hour in a 25 miles per hour zone, hit a golf cart with a newlywed couple. The bride passed away instantly. The groom has had severe injuries. And the 2 other people in the car, golf car also had severe injuries. It's been almost 2 years since it happened, and now she pled guilty the day off. She was supposed to start trial.
Offense of felony DUI, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Do you understand the minimum is 1 year, the maximum is 25 years, and a minimum fine of $10,100 and a maximum fine of $25,100?
Yes, we are.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that it's classified as violent and serious?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that under South Carolina law, that subjects you to enhanced penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you receive 2 additional serious offenses, you could face life without parole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do You may have discussed parole or parole eligibility with your lawyer or with others, but until your sentence, no one can tell you when, if ever, you would be eligible for parole, or under what conditions. You should assume that you will serve any time that you're sentenced to day for day. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
On 2 counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Do you understand that the minimum is 30 days and the maximum is 15 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that the maximum fine is a minimum of $5,100 and a maximum of $10,100?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand, and I'll go over that later, I apologize, I'll come back to that. On the offense of reckless homicide, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Do you understand the maximum penalty is 10 years and or a minimum fine of $1,000 and a maximum fine of $5,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that on the reckless homicide that your license will be revoked for 5 years?
Yes, Your
Do you
Honor.
understand the court has no control over that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that on the felony DUI with great bodily injury that your license will likewise be suspended?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that no probation or can be given on those offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you also understand that you will be required to have an ignition interlock device on your car?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you also understand that likewise we have no control over those statutory mandated conditions.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you also understand that on the felony DUI with death, that no portion of the sentence can be suspended.
Yes, Your Honor.
I want you to listen carefully to the facts. Just finish.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court.
Yes, sir.
This occurred April 28th, 2023, in the 1200 block of East Ashley Avenue, Holly Beach, in Charleston County. On that date, shortly before 10 o'clock p.m., the victims had left the wedding reception of Eric and Samantha Hutchinson, which was held on the western tip of the island. The newlyweds were being driven away in a low-speed vehicle, or LSV, which is a street-legal version of a golf cart. The LSV was fully illuminated with head and tail lights as it traveled eastbound from the reception site. Benjamin Garrett was driving. His son Brogan was riding next to him in the passenger seat. On the rear of the LSV was a newlywed couple, Samantha Miller Hutchinson and Eric Hutchinson. The path of travel was on West Ashley Avenue, across Center Street, and they continue on East Ashley Avenue towards the rental house. At approximately the same time as the victims were leaving the reception, the defendant was wrapping up an outing with new coworkers at a bar on Center Street, College Beach. After leaving that bar, Ms. Komoroski stopped by another neighboring bar, alone, for a single shot of tequila before getting into a rented 2023 Toyota Camry to drive home to her residence on James Island. The investigation revealed that in an hour and a half prior to the collision, the defendant had consumed 6 alcoholic drinks. However, instead of leaving the island via Center Street toward Folly Road and James Island, the defendant headed eastbound on East Ashley as well, following the victim's LSD, albeit the LSD would have been significantly further up the road. While on East Ashley, the defendant traveled well over the island-wide speed limit of 25 miles an hour as she closed on the LSD. Data from the EDR, the electronic data recorder, or event data recorder from the vehicle, the Toyota, shows the defendant was traveling 61.5 miles an hour, 4.65 seconds prior to crashing into the LSD. 4 seconds later, at 0.65 seconds prior to impact, the EDR shows the defendant had increased to 65.9 miles an hour. The same data reflects the brakes were applied half a second later, 0.15 seconds before impact. During the time of travel, eastbound on East Ashley, the onboard system in the defense vehicle captured black and white snapshots of the vehicle as it weaved across the road, off to the right, then over the center line, left, and then back into the right lane as it closed in on the LSV. At approximately 10:15 p.m., in the 1200 block of East Ashley Avenue, Ms. Komoroski crashed into the LSV. Crashed
10 p.m.
10:15 p.m.
10:15.
Yes, ma'am. Crash reconstruction calculations estimate The defendant was traveling approximately 63 miles an hour at impact, and the LSV was traveling approximately 25 miles an hour. Samantha Miller Hutchinson was ejected from the rear-facing seat onto the hood of the Toyota. Eric Hutchinson was ejected over the vehicle, landing near the point of impact. Benjamin Garrett was ejected from the vehicle onto the roadway. Brogan Garrett was ejected from the right side of the LSV into nearby ground cover. Brogan suffered injuries to his knees. Benjamin suffered a severe head injury, injury to his wrist, which was treated in the burn unit at MUSC, and injuries to his right hip and lower back. Ben will require further surgeries to address his other injuries, including a right hip replacement, a fusion of the right SI joint, possible fusion of his neck and back vertebrae, and surgery to address arthritis in his affected joints. Eric suffered 2 broken legs, one requiring surgical intervention to repair, a fractured facial bones, fractured vertebrae, also necessitating surgery, brain bleeds, numerous lacerations over his body. Additionally, his left eye was damaged, and the prognosis regarding his vision will develop over time. He necessitated surgery to fix the lid to that left eye, enabling him to close, and currently suffers double vision. Future surgery will be assessed. Samantha Miller Hutchinson died from blunt force trauma to her head and neck. Citizens that were staying or living in the area of the crash immediately responded to the site and called 911. Among those who responded were 2 nurses that happened to be staying nearby. They, along with others, began triaging the victims. Neither detected any pulse from Samantha. As a call for assistance was dispatched, officers from Valley Beach rushed to the scene. Sergeant Halpern, who was also trained EMT, was the first responder. On his travel to the site, and knowing the severity of the crash and the injuries, Halpern's speed from his cruiser's GPS topped out at 58 miles an hour. It was essentially consistent around 44 miles an hour with lights and sirens operating. Sergeant Halpern and Officer Honeycutt, also from Folly Beach Police Department, attempted to resuscitate Samantha using CPR and an AED. Ultimately, they were not successful. Samantha was declared deceased at the scene. Folly Beach Police Department put out a call for assistance to the scene and to handle other calls while working this crash. Sergeant Charles Seven and Deputy Aaron Scruggs of Charleston County Sheriff's Office responded to assist with the crash reconstruction. And CPD officers, including Zachary Azari, assisted with the DUI investigation. CCEMS, Charleston County EMS, that is, transported Eric, Ben, and Brogan to MUSC for treatment in the trauma unit. The coroner was called to respond for Samantha. At the scene, the defendant admitted to driving the Toyota and to drinking 2 drinks prior to the crash. She declined to perform standard field sobriety tests. She was then taken into custody for suspicion of DUI and transported to Folly Beach's Department of Public Safety to provide a breath sample, which she also declined. At approximately 1 a.m., August 29th, or April 29th, Sergeant Halpern drove the defendant to MUSC for medical clearance. A search warrant was issued for a blood sample from the defendant. MUSC collected the sample according to SLED protocols. The sample was later tested by a SLED toxicologist who reported a BAC of 0.261. A retrograde extrapolation based on the time of the defendant's last drink, her age, weight, and height, estimated her BAC to be 0.255 to 0.318 at the time of the crash, between 3 and 4 times the legal limit.
318?
Ms. Komoroski was guided by
Shitlets.
Charleston.
That's unconscious country if you're at 318. So
Yeah.
she must have been, but as I read the affidavit, I don't even think she knows she hit them. She was that drunk.
No, I don't think she does. I think I thought I saw somewhere that she thought she got hit.
Yeah. She was
Yeah.
so hammered that I really, again, we don't know what. I really hope, even though she pled guilty, she will pay the price.
County grand jury,
Yeah.
September 23, for reckless homicide. She counts of felony DUI with GBI, 1 count of felony DUI with death. Again, this plea is without negotiations or recommendations.
Angle that podium so that she's talking to her. Just angle it this way so that she's speaking directly to her. Perfect. Gives us a better, I think she saw it. Do you agree or disagree with the facts?
I agree.
Feel anything needs to be changed or added to the facts?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand you're entitled to a jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that during a jury trial, the state has the burden of proving your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you would have the right to confront and cross-examine the state's witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Call your own witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Present any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
And challenge any statements as well as remain silent, and your silence could not be used against you. Do you understand each of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you're giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you desire a trial, that the court stands ready to accommodate that request, and we have a panel coming in for that purpose?
Yes, Your Honor.
And knowing all of that, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are there any deals you're relying on that I've not been told about? Are there any secret deals you've made between your lawyer and the state that the court is not aware of that you're relying on in pleading guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Have you been satisfied with your lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he done everything you've asked or expected?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any complaints about his services?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone threatened or coerced you?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily and of your own will?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you understood my questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need to ask any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Have you been truthful?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have the right to appeal each guilty plea and sentence of the court?
Yes,
Do
Your
you
Honor.
understand that you have to do that within 10 days of today in writing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you cannot afford an attorney for that process, that one will be appointed?
Probably because they know she was toast. If it would probably end worse if she didn't plead guilty. The judge will take into consideration that she pled guilty, maybe. That's what they normally
Yeah.
do. But I was reading an interesting fact. In the last 10 years, no felony DUI has gone to trial. Everyone has been pleaded out or pled guilty to. So in this jurisdiction.
It makes sense. I mean, especially if
Yeah.
there's deadly injuries. I mean, what are you going to say? I was super hammered, Your Honor. And it probably does look better if they're willing to, keep the victims from going through all that.
Yeah. That's I thought if you pled guilty, you couldn't file for appeal. Yeah, that's weird because you admit you did it. So
It'll depend on the situation, because you could still appeal certain things. Like if she doesn't agree with the number of years sentenced, she could appeal that part.
Oh, okay.
oh yeah, of course.
To you at no cost.
Yes, Your Honor.
I find there's a substantial factual basis for each plea, that each plea is going to have it freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently with the advice and assistance of counsel with whom the defendant has indicated she's satisfied. I will accept the plea. Anything further from the state? And I did not notice, actually I do notice now, I apologize. But I didn't see the other two victims' names, I'm sorry.
Your Honor,
And I assume, based on, and I neglected to ask this earlier, and I apologize for my oversight, I assume that that on indictment ending in 3982, which is the felony DUI with death, I assume that Ms. Hutchinson's relatives were notified,
yes, correct, Your
and
Honor.
some of them are present.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is there any restitution?
None is being sought by the state.
And I assume on indictment ending in 3983, which is the felony DUI, great bodily injury, that Mr. Ari Hutchinson was notified,
That's correct, Your Honor.
and
He's present.
he is present, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there any restitution?
None sought by the state.
And likewise, assuming on indicted ending in 3984, That Ben Garrett was notified.
That's correct, Your Honor. He's also present in the courtroom.
And is there any restitution?
None sought by the state.
And on indictment ending in 3985,
These are very expensive lawyers she has.
Yeah.
Her dad has a lot of money.
Too bad he couldn't teach his daughter to Uber.
that's a duplicate victim, correct? That's
Well, she's an entitled little C word.
Anything further from the state?
It's probably her dad's fault she didn't have a driver.
Members of the victim's family who would aware.
Certainly. You can call them in the order that you'd like and make sure they speak loudly and clearly for the benefit of the court reporter. You can call them in whatever order you would like.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
First would be Ms. Lisa Miller, the mother of the deceased, Samantha Hutchinson.
It's up to you. However you choose. I'm sorry. That's fine. Can you tell us your name for the record?
My name's Smith. No, it's not. My name is Lisa Miller. I'm Samantha Miller's mom.
Yes, ma'am. We'd be glad to hear from you. Take your time.
Thanks.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you allowing me to speak and everybody be patient. I really want to get through this. First of all, for the last 20 years, my career has been a substance abuse counselor. So I wanted to bring
Oh,
that back
shit.
to the court.
Oh, crapola.
I have dealt with many different
Sorry.
populations, offenders, I did program for offenders, I've dealt with military people, adolescent programs, so I've kind of ran all gamut. The one thing that all these groups and all these populations have in common is the word enabling. And enabling happens when, does everybody know what that means? Enabling happens when, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be their children, maybe the adult is the one that's alcohol. They help them because they don't want them to get in trouble. They don't want them to have a bad life. By them helping them, they're really doing them a dishonor. And the only way that somebody that's having alcohol or drug issues and addiction can get better is to suffer the natural consequences of their behaviors. In this case, the natural consequences is the legal consequences of what happened, which resulted in my family, sibling, child, not being here anymore. The good thing about it, if she goes and stays some time in jail, they have treatment in there. AA is not treatment. AA doesn't help somebody who's addicted. It's good once you get to that point where you're on for treatment, you spend some time in sobriety. AA is where you go hang out with your other people, and that's it. This is important, but thank you. Who was Sam? I want to talk about Sam, my daughter. And she wasn't just a person on a golf cart that just
This is Sam's mother.
got married and got ill.
He broke both his legs, had brain bleeds, and injuries to his spine, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And his
Yeah.
his eyelid had to be reattached so it can close again. He's suffering from double vision, might need further surgery.
She was a low-esteemed child. I'm gonna tell a little bit of the story. Bear with me. I got pregnant with Sam. I was single, divorced with an older child. Those things happen. They did not have any help or any assistance. And so I think that bonded Sam and I as being fighters together through life, helping each other until my husband and I met and married, adopted Sam, and was her dad. So life wasn't always easy for us to get through what we had to get through. It's really hard to figure out how we were gonna make it financially. My whole first career was based on being pregnant with Sam. I know it sounds funny, but it's like, I have 9 months to get a career. I can't make $10 an hour
Can you
anymore.
pause? On this, they didn't do it because there's an active civil litigation suit, and it would have impacted the recovery in that.
Yeah, and now she's pled guilty. That's not good for the civil litigation. She'll
No.
probably have to pay out and nose and ears on that one. There has been a fundraiser that raised, I believe, 300. I might be wrong on that number, but they have had other civil litigations against the bars for 834,000. Taco Boy and her are still in civil litigation
But
for
this guilty
restitution.
plea is going to affect that too.
Yeah, yeah, for both her and the bar, because they overserved her.
The
Mhm.
9 months pay, I go to hair school. We figured it out, like, we always figure things out together. Not only was she my daughter, Sam and I had, excuse me, that's okay, take your time. Sam and I had a relationship, probably better than most people that love each other. I'm very close with my other 2 kids. Our family has always been close. But Sam and I had a bond that was very different and very amazing, and we both had each other's backs all the time. We talk every day, her whole entire life. You know, most 30-year-olds don't want much to do with their parents anymore. You know, hey, yeah, I'll come over for Christmas dinner, but I'm not gonna hang out with you all the time. And I'll lead into something else I'm getting off of. But in saying that, the last time I was with Sam before the week of the wedding, her birthday is 3/27. So on 3/27, a month and a day earlier, she called me for her birthday and she said, all I want, Mom, is for you to come see me, for you to be with me on her birthday. And I brought champagne, and we brought cupcakes, and we went down to the beach at sunrise, our favorite time, and we did silly dances on the beach with cupcakes and champagne. That's what an amazing relationship is. She used to, when she was little, when my husband would tease me or tease her or whatever, you know, just he would act like he was saying things about me, and she would just get so mad and be like, don't talk about my mom, like, just defend me. Then when we divorced and I started somewhat dating sometimes, she met one of them, she'd get right up in their face and be like, you heard my mama? I'm gonna only leave out the words she used. For you, basically. That's the best friend. You can only hope that anybody in
This lady sued her son-in-law because she asked questions of the legality of the marriage because of the short amount of time. That lawsuit have since been dropped, but it makes me, even though I feel for her, it makes me see her in a completely different light. When I read that today, and I thought, what's going on? And apparently she sued and didn't believe they were married because
Well, also, for a mental health counselor, for a substance abuse counselor, she is talking about the parentification of her daughter. It was us together. My daughter felt impelled to defend me. These are the kind of things that children who have had to take on a parent role tend to do. This does not speak of a really good relationship. It really speaks of codependence from the mom's point. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't have the, all-time
this is
most
the bride's
hallmarky.
mother. Crispy Bacon. This
This
is
is-
the
yeah.
bride's mother. This one. She is the one who sued her son-in-law to have the marriage annulled. So that's this is the lady. For anyone who didn't know who this is, it's not Diane Keaton. It is the bride's mom. And I find it weird that
Or Jane Kranick. Or not, what's her name? Someone brought it up on the chat. She looks exactly like her. I just can't think of her name.
yeah, it's they had been together for years before getting married. It's not like they just met. No, it seems like it was one of those shotgun weddings in Las Vegas when you hear she wanted annulled, but he's a Utah boy. He went out there so they could have the marriage with her family.
Yeah.
So I feel for you, but even in sorrow, we should also remember to be good humans.
Ms. Freeman has kids, could have a relationship like that with her child. She wanted everybody to feel happy. I keep coming up to me after Sam passed and was like, you know, if they worked with her, if I were gonna go to work and I was in a bad mood, I went anyway because Sam would make me feel better. That's who she was. She wanted.
I just read that it was withdrawn.
So I could kind of explain. So the reason why she wanted to find out whether or not the marriage was not in effect is because based under estate intestacy laws, she would be the next of kin. So then she would be able to get money. However, if there's a spouse involved that's legally recognized in the law, then it goes to the spouse first. And then if there's no spouse, it usually goes to the parent. If there's no kids also. So that's why, because she would have been the beneficiary of her estate if there is no official marriage.
So this is about money, which makes me even less sad. Hey, Brandon, I hope I hope your day in court went well. Did you get picked for a jury? You would be the best juror in there. You would be the guy, even with the most guilty guy who just said, I don't see it. But he was standing
Marissa, it
over
wouldn't
him.
just be her life insurance. It would be any proceeds attributed to Sam's estate. So any proceeds from
She would
like
be
a
the one
wrongful
suing
death.
all the bars now.
Well, so not necessarily. It's whoever her estate representative is. So someone had to have gotten appointed as Sam's estate representative, and they represent the interest of Sam's estate. But any proceeds that would have come in from those bar lawsuits would go into Sam's estate and then out to whoever is the beneficiary of the estate, which, if there's no legal marriage, would be her mom. If there is a
Yeah.
legal marriage, it goes to the husband.
That's
That did leave a bad taste in my mouth. That this and someone else pointed out in chat. I mean, Sam, maybe it's just because we just listened to Sarah Boone, but Sam was there to make her feel better. If I was having a bad day or I didn't want to do something, she was there. It's not painting her in the best light, especially when she already has this kind of public opinion about herself.
It didn't get withdrawn. She pled guilty. Oh, the suit, yes, the suit against the husband, yes, it got withdrawn. She probably woke up one morning, looked herself in the mirror, and thought, "I might be the biggest C word in the world," because that man is probably never gonna be normal again.
No, it sounds like he has a detached retina as well,
Mhm.
and those are iffy whether he'll ever be fulfilled to, full sight.
Yeah,
So,
and that's
to Ralphie's question, it would have been, I believe the husband initiated it, but they would have also included the estate as a party, as a plaintiff, because you have to include all of the potential parties in a civil lawsuit to not preclude them from recovery. So it's probably something along the lines of like Arik, I can't remember his last name, Arik, the estate of Samantha, whatever her last name is on her death certificate, and like any other parties that could benefit from the wrongful death or any whatever claims they made in the lawsuit against the bars, the defendant here. I think there was a car insurance company listed for the car insurance.
they got a pretty big sum from the rental company.
I might even have the original
Yeah,
complaint.
the Eric Hutchinson's estate is the one that sued, or maybe Sam's estate is also part of it, but
Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay, so Arik is also the personal representative of the estate. So it's Arik Hutchins as personal representative of the estate of Samantha Miller, Arik Hutchins individually, Benjamin Garrett, which I assume is one of the other
Yeah, because it was a
Ethan,
father and
He's the one with the
individually.
bad knees, I think.
Yeah. And then Alexis Garrett as parent and guardian of her minor child BG. So that's all the occupants of the golf cart basically, and then it's against the defendant, Beachfront Bars LLC, doing business as Snapper Jacks, the Folly Deli, doing business as the Drop-In Bar and Deli, the Crab Shack, Folly Taqueria, which I'm pronouncing that horribly, which is the Taco Boy, a Supervisor Doe, El Gallo Bar and Grill, Bottle Cap Holdings, and John and Jane Doe's 1 through 20, which suggests that there are people, either owners or managers or someone that saw
Bartenders.
how intoxicated she was getting and
It's the same in the
didn't do
Karen
anything.
Reed civil suit
Yeah.
where they're suing the bars. So
Yeah.
no, Bright didn't have a kid. It's the kid of one of the people who were in the car, I believe, is the other one.
Yes, it was like the nephew or something like that.
Yeah. And yes, she said Samantha Miller, not Samantha Hutchinson. It seems like
Because she
I
probably
don't
didn't
know if-
legally change her name yet.
no, but still. Wouldn't
Because you need a marriage certificate completed.
But if you're the mom who's maybe publicly looked like a utter douche canoe, would you have
Yeah.
said even Miller, Hutchinson? I mean, would you have hyphenated at least?
Yeah, and I would have, but when it comes to the estate, it goes off of her death
Oh,
certificate.
Yeah,
That
but we're
makes-
not
so-
talking about the estate. We're talking about in court today.
Yeah, in her
mother
court today,
presented
yeah,
her.
I would have. Because that's
I
what her-
would have said, I'm here to speak on behalf of my daughter Sam Miller, or as we would, as she had just become 4 hours earlier, Sam Hutchinson, Eric's wife. Because even if I might have been a cahoon that looked kind of like a money grabber, I would do whatever I could to, on this day of days, present the best case. But let's get back to it because the shadow's
Yeah.
getting long.
Everybody just feel loved, cared about, and as much as I didn't want to talk, if something would happen to me, Sam would be up here screaming off the mountaintops for all her pain. That's who she was. Yeah, doing pretty good. I'm sure talking to yourself is pretty good. The 1 year she moved to Utah on Valentine's Day, and that was the hardest, that's the only year we were ever apart. On Valentine's Day, I came home to my house, and my whole driveway was covered with I love you mores in pink everywhere. My whole walkway, my whole door was different color flowers. I mean, different color hearts, red, pink, my whole entire front door. I don't know many kids at 30-something years old that would care about their mom, have a good Valentine's Day party or day, and want her to feel loved and live in a different state and have one of her friends come over to her mom's house and do this. Cut to me. So unfortunately, I don't like talking about the event, but I just want to tell you what happened through Sam's mom's eyes and our family and what we experienced, which was pretty horrible. So it was supposed to be a rainy day. It was supposed to be a cloudy, and the weather just an hour before the wedding just became beautiful. Couldn't have been better. Everything was perfect.
Yes, they mentioned that before he was at the courtroom.
Sam had me hold her phone during the wedding. And when she was on the golf cart, she realized she didn't have her phone. I'm getting ahead of myself, that's okay. So she said someone to come get her phone. And you don't know how many times we go down the rabbit hole, she had just gone without her phone or told me to come bring it to her or whatever. I mean, it's perfect timing that she got right in front of this car. So we try not to do that too much. So after the wedding, we went to where we were staying in our Airbnb, and basically, got into some sweats and we're hanging out on the porch and everybody had a good night and pouring a glass of wine, relax. And I'm standing out there and I hear all these sirens. And the fire trucks, which on a Friday night volley, it's not very rare. I mean, they're there all the time, right? But I heard those fire trucks and saw those lights and I yelled, "Something happened, Sam." And maybe said, "No, Mom." And I said, "Something happened to Sam." That's a connection with somebody. I knew. And it wasn't until, I don't even know how long later, somebody came by and was nice enough to ask us if we'd heard about the accident. And so she took us down there. Sorry, this arm is hurt. And Mandy and I, my daughter, ran barefoot into the scene, which was all really tough. Sam's dad was there. And within, like, I don't know the timing, but maybe 15, 20 minutes, one of the officers there came up.
Sarah Boone got life in prison, if that's the one. This one, she pled guilty day off. So that's why we're getting the impact statements now.
And told me that everybody that was in the accident was taken to the hospital. So Mandy took me to the hospital. We went to the hospital to find Sam. They didn't have ID, so it was gonna be a while before they figured out where everybody was. But I really believe that she was in the hospital. And then it was like 2 a.m. We hung out outside. Some of Sam's friends came and we stayed outside waiting. And then my ex-husband, Sam's dad, called my phone and he said, "Sam's not at the hospital, Lisa." He said, "Sam's still on the side of the road. I just identified her." And I just fell to the ground. I don't even know how we ended up going through the next few days, but anyway, I know that's our story. I'm Sam. And what happened? Sam was light. She was love. And she was amazing. It always will be. I'm going to insert one more thing that I forgot when we were talking about the wedding. And almost forget, but another thing that Sam did. She planned a wedding, is a little bit for really that year planning the wedding, which sucked, but
Yes, she pled guilty in all counts.
she was kind enough to do her daddy-daughter dance with both of her dads.
That's because you've got good people.
And nice enough to include both of them. And then afterwards, we're all standing there ready for the next thing to happen. And the DJ announces special dance for the most special person in Sam's, most important person in Sam's life. And
Her husband?
she played our song again. That's the last time I hugged my kid. It was on that dance floor. It was the most beautiful thing a child could do for their mom. And that's just explained our relationship.
Yes, and she probably had some trouble with the marriage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is codependent to the max. And if Samantha had moved forward with her marriage and her husband became her person, I don't think that this would have been a marriage that she would have found maternal support in.
No, and as OLR said, it probably every day she's wondering why her, not him.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's a lot of resentment there.
it's
And let's be
She
real,
put-
if something happened and a bunch of kids were all in a car and only my kid passed away, that would be a totally human feeling I would have.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, would I express it to any of the other kids? Hell no. These would be dark feelings I would keep in for my inside voice. But her entire speech has been about how Samantha made her feel, not what
Yeah.
Samantha achieved, not how she met the love of her life and she was
Yeah.
getting ready to start a new life, you know, how my role was going to be changing, but I was excited.
How I couldn't wait for them to have grandkids so I could teach them how wonderful their mom was by being there
Yeah.
for them, like Sam had helped me through my life until I met my husband. Going down that road, becoming a mother, one of the greatest joys in my life. I could probably whisk up a better statement in 5 minutes that would also jerk to tears. It
She
I'm feeling sorry for her, but maybe it's the Boonerisms.
I think we watched this too close to Boone because all I am seeing is the parallel to Boone.
Yeah,
The I am the main character in this drama. This is pain is I'm the only one that feels pain about this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's too close to Boone. I think there is definitely some underlying vibes that she does it. She feels that resentment. And I only say
yeah,
that because I know I felt that resentment a lot towards my mother when my dad passed away. And,
but I
you
think
know, you
Danny
go,
T might be onto something that she didn't want that move to Utah. She wanted to stay there, and that's why they had the marriage on Foley Island or whatever it's called.
yeah.
Because to placate, I think the word is placate the mother. So yeah,
She just seems like a lot of drama.
Yeah.
a few days after this happened, the mom and sister both spoke how much love they had for each other. I was watching them earlier. The husband and wife, yeah, but then put on what is it? 2 years since it happened. 2 years of her every day waking up thinking, if they had switched seats, I would have my daughter here today.
Yeah.
Or if she had run back to me to get her phone, you know, just said bye to mommy one more time, they would have,
Yeah,
you know, lived.
Foley. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's close. Foley. No, but yeah, and you will always have that. But it's I'm this is gonna maybe it's a weird. I'm thanking myself so much the day my dad passed away because he said, "Come pick me up in half an hour," and I saw him walking towards the doctor, and I could say he just couldn't walk. I'm so glad that I parked illegally in a handicap spot and ran over to try and help him into the doctor's office. He passed away in my arms 3 minutes later. That wasn't the
Yeah.
fun part. But I'm thankful that the last thing he ever said is, "It's not fun being old." And the last thing I said to him after slapping him in his face is, "You got to listen to the doctor." Because I know I was there and I know he wasn't in
Yeah.
pain. He didn't know what happened. And uh, I'm just happy because I will not, never. My sister had a big problem when my mom passed. My mom was in a hospice, and my mom said to my sister when we left her, "Come see me tonight when the kid are sleeping. I want to talk to you." And an hour later, she called my dad and said, "I don't want to do this anymore. Come out here now. I'm dying." So my sister never got that conversation, and my sister
Yep.
to this day thinks, "What would she have said?" And she would just have said, "You're going to be the mom of the family now. You're going to take care of all your brothers. You're the one who's going to keep it together." And my sister knows this, but my
Yeah.
sister, till the day she dies, think, if I had just driven out there and
Yeah.
had last conversation. That's and sitting with that in your head, even though you might think, oh, they loved each other, it turns into some kind of hatred at some point.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be mad at God. You can't go punch the crud out of Miss what's her face over there, Drunky McDrunkface. So who are you going to be mad at? Well, you didn't want her moving to Utah in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't good enough for her anyway. It's very easy to turn that into a target that you
Yeah.
didn't
You'll
really like in
scream
the
at
first
God the
place.
first couple of months, but he doesn't really
Yeah.
answer. And then it's easier to hate someone you can see right every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my last conversation with my dad was, "You politicians are so full of crap, and why do they never do what they want to say?" And then he said, "Yeah, you can just leave, pick me up in half an hour, and then it's not funny getting old." I think that's a good way to end your life, saying it's not funny getting old.
Yeah.
I think that's
think-
a
Yeah.
best way.
My last one was basically talking about how we, how I was gonna go on to go to college, and I'll see, you'll get scholarships, you'll do all this stuff, don't worry about it, and then make sure you get a trip to DC at some point to go check out all the monuments like we planned. Like it was kind of like I knew it was coming, but like it's still one of those,
Yeah. And
You-
you're
you
never
don't-
ready for. My biggest fear was coming over here. This is my dad's house,
Mm.
and my fear was every day when I drove over here that I would find him dead, because
Yeah.
it has taken a turn for the worse. So I am happy it didn't happen in the house. I didn't have to find him because I was here every other day. So imagine if he passed away right after. That would have been horrible.
Yeah.
So, but enough about my pain. Back to this pain.
Yeah.
Last thing I need to say, is that myself, Sam's siblings, Sam's siblings are nieces and her father. We've been sentenced to a lifetime of pain, as with half the world.
Oh, what about her husband?
As a
Come on,
I
Mom.
can't even describe to you. I've lost my brother. I lost both my dads. This is so different. And it's scientifically proven that some kids' cells stay in your body. She died. We died. And she doesn't get a partial sentence. She doesn't get to come back to life in 10 years or 20 years. And we don't get to come back to life in 20, 25 years. This is a lifetime. Your Honor, I hope that you consider our plea in the world's plea to hold the defendant responsible for her poor choices and to experience the legal consequences of her action. Thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate your time.
Your Honor, that's Amanda Jenkins. Sister of the deceased.
Hi, my name is Mandy Jenkins. I'm Sam's sister. As I stand here today, I am struggling to find words that can truly convey the depth of the pain, grief, loss, and life adjustments we've all experienced in the last year and a half. It's obvious to everyone that Sam was a bright light in this world, a person full of love, laughter, and kindness. She touched everyone she met with her warmth and compassion. Her death has left a hole in our lives that can never be filled. I will never get to hear her voice, see her smile, or share any moments we have planned for the future. The pain of losing her is unbearable, and every day feels like a struggle to move forward. But Your Honor, I don't have a choice to give up. Sam was an aunt to my two daughters. My daughters, Amber and Maisie. They're Auntie Sammy. Despite Sam's constant care to everyone, the love she had for them was like no other, and it was mutual. Becoming a mother is the greatest milestone in my life, one Sam will never get a chance to do. My family traveled from Florida to South Carolina on April 20th, 2023, in preparation for Sam and Eric's wedding. And me and my girls never went back to Florida. 12 hours after we found out Sam was killed, Ember asked me why everyone from the wedding was at our Airbnb and why is everyone so sad. I was not prepared to explain death to a 5-year-old yet, especially because it was her Auntie Sammy. If you've never experienced trauma, I don't wish it upon anyone. Regardless of the thousands of dollars spent on therapy, the triggers are immensely debilitating every single day. The sirens, flashing lights, seeing a wedding dress, a golf cart, just the simple task of driving, and many, many more. When I'm with my girls, any of these things come up, they try to protect me. Singing a song loud to drown out the siren noise in hopes a grief wave doesn't hit me and I quickly spiral. Day to day, if I say, hey, mommy's just going to the grocery store real quick, Ember and Maisie quickly panic, having to say goodbye multiple times just in case I don't come back, in their words, like what happened to Auntie Sammy. My job is to protect them, shouldn't be the other way around. But I also now have the task of protecting my mother and being her rock through this. She once said years back, if anything ever happens to one of my kids, I'd kill myself. The moment we found out Sam was plowed down, I made my mother look me in the eye and promise me she wouldn't do that. I didn't quite believe her, knowing the bond her and Sam shared, and I knew I needed to be by her side through every moment of this. I sent my husband on a plane to Florida, and he packed up our house when we moved to North Carolina, down 1,000 steps from my mom. This tragedy has not only stolen the future that my sister should have had, but has also forever altered the course of our lives. I know that no sentence can bring Sam back. The choices made by the drunk driver the night she killed my sister will affect us forever. They have taken more than just a life. They have taken the future, our future. I'm filled with anger and frustration, knowing that my sister's life was cut short by a selfish, senseless, and preventable tragedy. The defendant's actions have forever changed her family, and we have to live with the consequences of this loss every single day, and she should too. No one should endure this pain except for her. Thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Next, Nathan Miller, brother of Samantha Hutchinson.
Nathan Miller, Sam's brother.
Yes, sir.
Not much that hasn't been said. Just really brief. But I'm sure as you and everyone else can see and hear that how hard it's been on our family to go through something like this. It's unimaginable. If you haven't been through anything like this, then it won't really do it any justice for me to try to put it into words. And if you have, then I don't need to put it into words for you. How much pain and anxiety and just like worry, constant worry, just living in a state where, you know, when your phone rings, you know that there's a pretty good chance that on the other line, there's going to be somebody in peril, and you have to do your best to try to help them. Not only do we have to deal with the loss ourselves, but we have to watch our loved ones go through it as well. The last thing I'll say is just hope that the sentence is the maximum, because this wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident to go over 60 miles per hour on these pitch black, tiny, folly roads that are constantly filled with people. Honestly, it'd be more surprising if someone wasn't killed in those circumstances. So, leave it at that. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Mr. Finch.
Hey, guys. Next, Brad Warner, biological father. See you.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us your name for the record?
I'm Brad Warner.
Yes, sir. Be glad to hear.
I'm Sam's biological daughter. My father. I'm the one that wasn't there in the first part of her life. For the past 20 plus years. I was there for her when she needed me. When I was 2 years old, I got hit by a car, left on the side of the road for dead. I survived. Everybody says they think the person was drunk. It was a hit and run. They never found the person. So every day I woke up for 57 years and hated this person. Hated every day. I'd wake up and hate somebody I didn't even know. Six months before Sam was taken, I said to her, I was like, I got to get this weight off my shoulder. I said to Sam, I'm going to forgive this person. I don't know who it is. I did. The next day I talked to Sam. It was like a 1,000-pound weight was taken off my shoulders. Felt like I could fly. 6 months later, that hatred is back on with vengeance. I've never felt this much weight. This person, you took such a beautiful person away. She was loved by so many. I didn't realize how many people over the past year and a half I've heard from people that actually hate you. And they love Sam, they never met Sam, don't even know Sam. For the rest of my life, I'm gonna hate you. And when I arrive in hell, and you come there, I'll open the door for you. You have ruined so many people's lives. And I hope you understand what you did, because you've taken no responsibility for what you've done. You can apologize all you want later. I will not listen to a word. It's not worth it. Everybody used to call Sam the female version of me. Because we say what we mean and we mean what we say, and she always did. She was a beautiful soul. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir.
Your Honor. Next, Hutchinson.
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah.
That was real, and that was
Yeah, you don't need much more than that.
My name is Annette. My name is Annette Hutchinson. That's Hutchinson.
Yes.
I am related to the victims. I am Eric's mother. Samantha and Benjamin's mother-in-law and Roland's grandmother. My family is my world. My children and grandchildren are everything to me. All that I do is for my family. Yet until today, I've spent the last 19 months watching helplessly as this horrific event and aftermath unfolded, shattering the lives of 2 out of my 3 children and ending the beautiful life of my beloved daughter-in-law, Sam. Speaking here today is the one thing I can do for them. Your Honor, I ask you to please consider Sam when you impose your sentence. Sam joined our family in March of 2019 when she chose my son. She was a force, so lively and so full of love, especially for my son, Eric. It was apparent to all of us they had both found the love of their lives. For over a year, Sam planned every detail of her wedding, a first marriage for both. She was excited and counting down the days, unaware she was also counting down to her own tragic death. On their wedding day, I had never seen Sam or Eric so happy. Their faces lit with smile the entire time, even as they waved goodbye from the golf cart they were riding on to start their life together. Photos in the video of the day captured the magic, but they are now too painful to watch or look at. Because our lives were forever changed moments later by the defendant when she recklessly sped through a quiet residential neighborhood into the back of the golf cart. In the police report, a witness described the crash as sounding like a bomb's explosion. That statement replays in my mind, thinking of the 4 of them struck in such a manner. The next day, I had the horrific task of telling my son that his new wife had died. After he repeatedly asked during moments of consciousness, "Where is Sam?" I cannot describe to you the pain I felt as I watched my son's face process this. And I knew what he would say before he said it. And it should have been me. Later, my husband and I spent a week cleaning and repairing Sam's wedding dress so it was presentable to Eric, because he did not get to see Sam after she was killed. So he wanted to see what she was last wearing in his final memory with her. Your Honor, I ask you to please consider my children and grandchildren when you impose your sentence. The night of the crash, my son Eric and son-in-law Ben both sustained injuries from which they'll never fully recover. I'll never forget the shock of arriving at the scene. I wish we could have shielded my other 4 grandchildren from the trauma of it, but we were from out of state, so we had no option but for them to accompany us. My memories from the scene are vivid and fixed in slow motion. My daughter being held from running to her unrecognizable husband Ben where he lay, her slumping to the ground, the police officer who stopped me to verify if they had found the correct number of victims, and my own realization at that moment that my son and Sam were there also. I recall the onlookers' expressions telling me more than I wanted to accept. My other son, Adam, and his family arrived and tried to comfort my daughter's two children, while my daughter ran up to him and screamed, "It's Sam and Eric too." Each devastating detail is permanently etched in my memory, including the moment when we found out that mere minutes after the happiest moments of her life, Sam had died. My son stayed at the scene and saw the criminal defendant sitting on the side of the road completely unharmed, and watched as she was led away past him. All 5 of my grandchildren, ages 10 to 17, one a victim of the crash, went from the scene to the emergency room, spending the night in the waiting room, not knowing what happened to their family. They will carry the trauma of this core memory with them for the rest of their lives. In the initial hours after the defendant slammed into Eric, Sam, Ben, and Brogan, medical staff at the hospital thought Eric wasn't going to survive his injuries. They moved him into ICU and advised us to spend as much time as possible with him. For months following this tragedy, Eric needed full-time medical care. He could not drive for 15 weeks. Since the crash, I've spent over 7 months here in South Carolina. My husband, who still works full-time, 6 weeks. Eric's siblings and friends have spent several additional weeks helping him, and we relocated him to our home state for a few months over last year's holiday, knowing how hard they would be, and he was all alone here. After Eric's initial surgeries for facial reconstruction and to repair both his legs so he'd be able to walk again, he required wound care, numerous follow-up doctor visits, and physical therapy. I watched him use a walker to get around and throw it across the room in frustration. I ran to the bathroom in the middle of the night after hearing him fall and cleaned his blood off of the floor. When he developed internal stomach ulcers, acid reflux, a deteriorating esophagus, and had bouts of profuse vomiting, I saw the pain and agony those caused. However, dealing with the severe physical injuries was easy compared to the grief, anxiety, and survivor's guilt to come. You cannot imagine the pain of constantly seeing your grown son crying helplessly and lost. For months upon my awakening, I would go check to see if my son was still breathing. On the darkest of days, I had to chase away the thought that maybe it would have been better if he and Sam had been taken together. I would prefer my own grief over my son's. One of countless heartbreaking memories I have is brushing the road debris off of the wedding envelopes that police gathered at the scene, while Eric opened them and read all the well wishes wedding guests had expressed for the life the happy couple would make together. There were 125 wedding guests and vendors at the wedding. 75% traveled from out of state to attend, only to be traumatized. Since this tragedy, Eric has made over 20 trips to the emergency room and 3 times was readmitted to the hospital for severe anxiety attacks, nausea, and dehydration. His most recent visit was only 3 weeks ago. I know some here see Ben and Eric as the men they appear on the exterior. What are not visible are the internal injuries, the scars hidden by clothing from the multiple surgeries both have endured. You don't see the constant physical pain that has become a part of their lives. The pain doesn't stop there. The emotional pain, the post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, survivor's guilt, and grief have been constant for these 19 months. You don't see the daily struggle, the arthritis setting in, and the future surgeries they've been told will be necessary to control pain and enable both men to remain mobile as they age. You don't see their limited abilities. They're unable to do activities they did before and must rely on others. Both are facing a difficult fight for the remainder of their lives. I was told there are no charges against the defendant for my then 17-year-old grandson, Brogan, because he was not severely injured. Yet he was struck by a car at 65 miles per hour while sitting next to his father, thrown several feet, landing close to his new and now deceased Aunt Sam. His view of Sam shielded by another young girl who had ran out of a nearby home, until he was placed in an ambulance and taken to the emergency room. I know Brogan struggles with his own PTSD, anxiety, trauma, and grief, but mostly in silence, because he sees the physical and emotional struggles of his father and uncle. And I know he feels lucky. But I worry for him when he starts to recall the trauma of the day. Your Honor, I need you to please consider the irreparable damage the criminal defendant has caused our families when you impose your sentence. I'm standing here today to tell you I don't know if my son will ever be okay or know happiness again. We now live under a shadow. We go through our day-to-day. We even smile for pictures that it's not real or the life we had. None of us will recover from losing Sam. Although unseen, the emotional damage is constant and at times relentless. Your Honor, please don't prioritize the defendant's life over the life of Sam and the life sentence of pain and suffering inflicted on Eric and Ben. Please send a clear message to the defendant that she must take responsibility for her actions and to others that taking a life as a direct result of irresponsible and selfish choices will result in severe consequences. As we now know, no one is immune to losing someone at the hands of another. It can happen at any time, and we live with the newfound fear it could happen to us again. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Alexis Garrett.
Yes, ma'am, tell us your name for the record.
Alexis Garrett.
Yes,
My husband, Ben Garrett, was the driver of the golf cart on April 28, 2023, along with 3 other of my family members. My son, Brogan Garrett, was a passenger in charge of playing the music and holding Eric's coat. And my brother, Eric Hutchinson, and my new sister-in-law, Samantha Miller Hutchinson, were all in the golf cart. Your Honor, I've struggled with what to say here today because nothing will convey the depth of pain and struggle that we have endured all of these months or feel adequate to express what was lost that night. We spent the entire day of April 28, 2023 together. We started setting up for the wedding that morning on the beach with our entire family helping. It was a perfect day and a beautiful wedding. I have never seen 2 people happier or more in love than Eric and Sam were on that day. We were still cleaning up at the wedding reception venue when I got the call that changed our lives. I was told my husband and son were involved in an accident and to come right away. Most of that night and the days and months that followed are a blur, except certain moments that will forever stick in my mind. Arriving at the scene to so many police and medical vehicles, running in my bare feet to the crash site, seeing the chaos and destruction, seeing what I didn't even recognize as a golf cart scattered across the road, seeing my husband in a terrible state lying on the road covered in blood, and then being loaded onto a stretcher. I was not allowed to get close to him or anyone there. I remember the moments of despair as I could not see anywhere where my 17-year-old son.
I really, really, really hope that she's listening really well and figuring out what. And again, she wasn't a young girl at the time. She was 25. I had my kid. Yeah, I was
That's not
about
that
to have
young.
my.
Yeah.
No,
I was about
she
to have
looks
my
so
second kid.
vacant. She looks like a sturgeon that's not been mounted and vacant. And please don't cry, ma'am, because I am so irritated with entitled, unfeeling, fake crying women today. I'm about to repeal the 19th Amendment.
Well, that's a day ending in Y in your house when you
Pretty
want that.
much true.
No, but at least she shows some remorse. She's not sitting there and saying, "Well,
Yeah.
if they've just
Okay,
driven a
she's
little bit faster
marginally
because."
She's marginally better than Sarah Boone. Again, that's a life achievement that a conscience Hatchimal could achieve.
Yeah.
Or a
but,
Furby.
But I'm just, if you look at the thumbnail, you can see her arrest photo, and before this, she was one of those Instagram girls. She good for
she's
you.
She's never had a situation that daddy's money couldn't buy her out of.
No.
And then when she finally screws up, she takes families, she destroys them.
No one is drugged up in court. You heard what medicine she was on. She's on Provalax. That's the only medicine that is on.
Lexapro.
Yes. provolone. I know everyone always say, well, I think they're slipping them a Mickey so they can be calm in court. No, because if you listen, every time the judge will ask people, have you been given any medication that can alter your state of mind? And they can't have her on anything other than very, 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 very closely prescribed medications. She's not drugged up. She is, I don't know what provolone is. I think it's antidepressant, but I can't remember. We always talk about it.
Lexapro. It's an anti-anxiety / antidepressant.
Anxiety.
Yeah. So
There's
that's
Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa.
And
provolone.
Lexapro's the like generic, or no, Lexapro's the
Name brand.
name
something,
brand, but it's like
I can't remember.
Latapram or something like that.
Escapalatam.
Yeah,
Something or other. Escargoapram.
I could tell you, but because I take it, but I can never pronounce it even when the doctor's like, "What do you take again?" And I'm like, I don't know.
Whatever
that
you gave
like
me
Esca
last month?
something. Yeah.
Yeah, but every time we cover a trial and someone is just sitting there like the Quentin Nixon trial where he is just
I think this is
Nothing.
hitting her more than it hit Sarah Boone.
I know,
Sorry?
but I just hate her dumb face.
It's fair.
yeah, but I think she's real. She's feeling all the grief hopefully right now. But
Yeah.
no defendant is ever. I know people saying, well, maybe they slipped them a little down or so they would stay calm in court. If they're not on
No.
medication, they can't because Jess, if you were a defense attorney and your client had been very, very drugged up in court and the judge had still taken a plea deal from them, what would you do right after?
File a motion to avoid it.
I would probably file a motion to appeal because my client was so drugged up they couldn't.
Well, appeal, yeah.
It's so they don't give unless you have severe problems that need you to be medicated. Even if your business wasn't medicated. That's why she attacked her lawyer.
The confusion
Oh,
and the chaos of the scene.
my sternum
The
nerves
kind
just cracked.
bystanders
That hurt
who
like hell.
helped my mom and I as we tried to comprehend what was happening. It was learned that Sam and Eric were also involved. Being told to go to the hospital, praying with my other two children in the car on the way to the hospital, arriving at the ER not knowing who was there or what condition they were in. The look of fear and the way my son cried when he finally saw me in the emergency room, waiting in my son's room in the ER while we weren't allowed to see my husband, and then finding out that Sam did not make it. Then hearing that my brother was also not doing good and wasn't expected to make it. I remember the worry of not knowing whether I should leave my son and husband when we didn't know the extent of their injuries so that I could go up to the ICU to say goodbye to my brother. It was all too much. It was so much tragedy. I'm trying to figure out how to help so many people I loved all at once. It felt like we were constantly trying to triage.
That's pretty normal. Like they normally do random UAs when a
Yeah.
person is on.
She's
For
been on
DUI.
a tattletale bracelet, and again, if there was any, she's pleading guilty. If there was any way she could be impaired, that guilty plea would go out the window. So of course her lawyers wouldn't allow that. Or if the
Yeah.
state had any ideas that she might, they would have a piss test faster than you can spell A.
Yeah, if there was
Yeah.
any hint of it, they would immediately drug
Staying in
test.
a rental house
Yeah.
2,000 miles from home.
You see it in Judge Fleischer's court all the time. Can you take a drug test right now? And he'll send them out to take a drug test, and they always come back positive.
Yeah.
It is strange. I blame the test strips because that's just impossibility right there. What are the odds?
Like I say about my HIV, at least something in my life is positive.
The days that followed were heavy as we tried to comprehend the loss of Sam while trying to navigate the physical injuries Eric and Ben both had. I remember going floor to floor to each of their rooms in the hospital to see them, all while my son recovered at a rental house with my other two children. That day that started out so blissfully happy ended in absolute tragedy. The defendant stole the life of the most vibrant woman with the best laugh and the most gorgeous smile. Losing Sam created an irreplaceable void in our family. The pain of losing her is an ever-present reminder of how fragile life can be, and it has left us in a state of grief that is difficult to put into words.
Not every joke is a winner on this channel, but we needed a little brevity.
So you
Sue
picked
liked
Yeah, I got
HIV.
JT sending me stuff.
My brother Eric is never going to be the same. I have never experienced that depth of pain and sorrow when we were in his hospital room the days following. And he would wake up and not remember what had happened, and we would have to tell him all over again. The past 19 months, he has struggled to continue to live. We have worried we would lose him many times since then, because the sorrow and survivor's guilt are just too great to comprehend. He suffers from many physical injuries that cause him daily pain, but nothing will ever compare to his shattered heart. My husband has experienced many physical injuries. He was covered head to toe in road rash and deep cuts and gashes. He spent 11 days in the hospital in Charleston. 9 of those were in the burn unit, undergoing surgery to clean out his many wounds. He underwent physical therapy to be able to walk with a walker and had to be able to sit long enough to endure the long flight home. He is the strongest man I know, and to see him in so much pain was one of the hardest things I have ever done. He continues to have physical pain limiting so many of his daily activities. Many days even walking is too much. The repercussions of that night extend far beyond his physical scars.
I think it's you that might be a little bit naive, because there's a big problem if you just swing a little Xanax, and a lot of people are always saying it with people who are already in prison. I don't know how big the Xanax deal is in prison. The problem is you'll open up everything for an appeal, and
Yeah, you run the
either-
risk of everything being overturned.
Yeah. So both sides want her to be clear-headed, and she testifies that she's clear-headed. Even Sarah Boone, who hasn't been clear-headed a day in her life, was asked if she was free of will and mind. It's a really big part of the questioning. And again, go watch normal court. Not these are the big ones. These are people who've been in prison, people who have been out on parole or bond and comes in. Watch Judge Fleischer. It's almost every day he does the drug test, or people have to have a drug test before they come to court, and it's always either meth, coke, or booze.
I mean, even in family court, for like CPS cases, you come in and the judge thinks you're looking a little funny or whatever, you're going to get a drug test.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And then they'll hold your case over
My son,
until that drug test
who was
comes back.
17 years old at the time and merely a passenger.
She does look like
while it was
Brandon
meant to be a
Fraser.
joyous celebration,
Not the
has been
the
deeply
mommy
affected
Brandon
emotionally.
Fraser.
Witnessing the
The real
aftermath of that
Brandon
horrific
Fraser.
accident has instilled in him a sense of fear and anxiety.
Who are we
that he
talking
struggles
about? The
to face.
defendant, the victim's
innocence of his
advocate,
childhood and
The defendant.
or oh. Do you remember those Billy Bass things that used to put on the wall and it would sing to you?
Oh God.
She's Billy Bass.
Yeah.
They scared the crap out of me, especially when they got that.
my other 2 children have been stolen and replaced with an overwhelming sense of trauma. It is heartbreaking to see my children struggling with feelings they should never have had to experience at such young ages.
I agree.
Yeah.
Being here today was a conflict for us. We live in Utah and we had to leave
Well, the jurors got paid for not doing anything today, and there was 600 extra calls to court, so they are probably hating her just as much as we are.
behind my daughter, who cries and breaks down at the mere mention of South Carolina and the thought of returning to the state terrified her. And bring my youngest son, who didn't want to be parted from his father and mother again.
Oh, if you listen to me, you're in trouble.
Whenever I go 65 miles per hour on the freeway, I now think of how fast that really is, and that they were riding in a golf cart. It's terrifying to think of what they experienced as the defendant hit them going so fast. We know that it is nothing short of a miracle that these 3 men are still with us here today. And we know Sam had a lot to do with that. She is love and light, and the world will not be the same without her. No family should have to endure the heartbreak and suffering that we have due to this unpreventable tragedy. I do not believe this was merely a single act of recklessness. It has destroyed our family, shattered dreams, and left lasting scars on all of us. We will never be the same. Ours is a life sentence without Sam, and with all of the physical and emotional injuries that the defendant has left in her wake. Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you, Your Honor. Next, Rogan Garrett.
My name is Rogan Garrett,
First name for us, sir.
Eroean. And on April 28th, 2023, while me and my family were on a fun vacation to support my uncle and aunt, what was supposed to be a joyous and celebratory day turned into a nightmare that will haunt me and my family for the rest of our lives. That night, after
Don't
my
spend it
aunt
all
and
in one
uncle's
place.
wedding, an intoxicated Jamie Komoroski struck me and my dad while we were taking my aunt and uncle to their rental.
I actually think something was disclosed because it was set to go at 12:30 and nothing happened, and then this happened at I think like 2 o'clock. So there was probably,
Yeah.
and they probably already written their statements before, because a trial like that, a hidden, a DUI felony, 2 days, 3 at the most.
The crash took my aunt's life.
We are roughly an hour and 43 minutes, but there's a break at some point. So, yeah.
Bride celebrating the happiest day of her life just hours earlier. She was full of love and laughter and light, and her absence has left an unfillable void in our family,
Remember to
As
pay
well as others.
taxes of those $5.
who had to have Sam ripped from their lives. The impact of this tragedy goes far beyond her death. My father and uncle were severely injured. My uncle to the point that he was not supposed to make it through the night. My father endured immense physical pain, a long hospital stay, and grueling recoveries as well as having to watch my biggest role model and protector in life struggle that much to walk just a couple of feet, to sit up in a chair, and to watch him sit out while me and my brother would play catch. I too was injured, both physically and emotionally. The images of the mangled golf cart staring at the leaves of the trees as sirens blared and lights flashed across them. My ride in the ambulance to the ER. Finally getting to the yard and hearing my mom tell me what was going on. Finally seeing my dad in the state that he was in. And listening to him groan while my mom shared the news to me about Sam. My thoughts were racing while I was young, wondering what was going to happen to our family. And thoughts of the brand new marriage that got ripped apart in seconds. These are things that I relive daily. The fear of getting rear-ended again has haunted me since that day. And I did not stop checking my rearview mirror while I drive. The emotional and mental impact has caused me to often wonder how anyone could make the choice to drive while intoxicated. A choice that has brought so much harm to innocent lives. The decision to drive under the influence is not reckless, it's selfish and cruel. It is an act that destroyed a family and robbed us of a loved one who we can never get back. This accident didn't just affect our bodies, it shattered our hearts and broke the spirit of the family that had come together for love and celebration. Instead of remembering that day for the joy of a wedding, we now associate it with grief, trauma, and loss. The few more days that I spent in Folly Beach were not pleasant. When I finally returned to the rental that we were staying at, there was a dull feel to everything. The adults with us were usually taking naps or resting before they returned to the hospital to take their share with my dad and uncle, while the older kids were tasked with keeping the younger ones entertained. My sister refused to let me out of her sight. They would be constantly taking care of me while my mom was with my dad. I was faced with having to try and help my brother while we struggled with emotions that were not meant to be felt and processed by a 12-year-old. Every little daily task was a struggle for me, and everything seemed to move in slow motion. When it was time to finally go home, we came to realize that my dad was not going to be joining us. And that devastated me and my siblings. Having to separate our family in a time where all we wanted was to be together was very hard. When we got home and were forced to return to our normal lives, it was a struggle. Going back to school and trying to pretend like everything was okay was mentally draining. Everyone asking you the same question over and over again about whether you were okay or not was taxing. Everyday activities like classes, sports, and hanging out with friends felt pointless. And my motivation started to disappear when all I wanted was for my dad to come home. When my dad finally returned home, the enormous burden that was placed on my family did not go away. While still having to help my dad recover, we were also hearing stories about how my uncle was doing back in South Carolina. They were hard to hear, and the combination of watching my dad struggle to recover from his injuries made it hard to keep our hopes up for a better future. The justice process that followed was daunting and placed a lot of stress on me while I was trying to navigate this foreign world that I was dropped into. The big toll on my mental health and the fear of losing another family member has also affected many big decisions in my life. One of those decisions being after graduating to serve an LDS mission, which I was preparing my whole life to do and was looking forward to. I hope the court will consider the profound impact that Jamie Komoroski's actions have had on me and my family and my future. I ask for accountability and justice, not only for the harm done to us, but to send a message that such choices have devastating and irreversible consequences. Thank you for allowing me to share my story.
Benjamin Garrett.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us your name for the record?
Benjamin Garrett.
You may proceed.
Your Honor, I just want to start out thanking all the first responders for that night. I know it wasn't something that anybody wanted to go through. And also, I just want to thank Folly Beach, the community, Charleston, Morgan, Utah, North Carolina, everybody around the world for supporting our families through this. Your Honor, that evening was such a good night. Celebrating Sam and Eric and their love. And I was looking forward to driving them off to their rental with my son. It was my only job for the wedding. While we were on the drive there, we were talking that night. You know, we were just listening to Sam and Eric talk, flirting with each other. Rogan and I were having conversations. We talked about the breakfast burritos at Bird's Market, how fantastic they were. And that's the last thing I remember that night. The next thing I knew, someone was tapping my shoulder, asking me if I knew where I was. And I remember opening my eyes and seeing all the lights and knowing that I was at the hospital. Had no idea how I got there or what had happened. The next time I woke up, I remember hearing Eric yelling in pain, just screaming, "It hurts, it hurts." There was so much chaos inside the ER. In and out of consciousness. I asked about my son, and one of the nurses came back. I think it was a nurse, I don't know who it was. Told me that it didn't look good. And then a little bit later, when I woke up again, they came back and told me that they'd given me the wrong diagnosis. They'd given me Eric's diagnosis instead of my son. And that my son was with my wife, and they'd be taking me back there. The hospital staff eventually took me back to go see my wife and my son. And that's when my wife told me that Sam didn't make it. They didn't know if Eric was going to make it through the night. It was my only job, and I didn't get to complete it. Make sure that they got to their rental property and have their money. Your Honor, I had road rash all over my body. That night, I had no idea what the extent of my injuries. I didn't want to move. I couldn't move.
This is the brother-in-law, the one who was driving the golf cart. His son was the one speaking just before this. This guy, I think he was the one who had road rash all over his body and fractures to his back.
Yeah, he was the driver of the golf cart.
Yeah, the son had his knees busted. This is the guy who probably will have to have a hip replacement.
And he's going to either have fusions or will have fused his cervical spine, and I believe it was his SI joint.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a hell of an impact.
Yeah.
Had stitches in my forehead, an open hole in my muscle on my left hand, giant gash on my right wrist, and I couldn't walk, couldn't even stand. I actually, when they released my son, I told him I was going home, and the doctors told me, well, if you can stand, you can go home. It was a struggle to sit up, and I knew that I'd be staying longer. After the first couple of days, my wife getting pretty upset. with the condition that I was in, Dr. Hinkett and USC and her team took me in for surgery again. Fixed up the stitches on my forehead and also gave me a fish skin graft on my right wrist. I then spent the next 9 days recovering from injuries and trying to walk. I separated my right SI joint, cracked my sacrum, and tore the labrum in my right hip. I had to practice sitting in a chair so that I could show the doctors that I could fly home and join my family. When I returned home, I was referred to.
He wasn't drunk. She was. She was at
Yeah.
measured 4 hours later. She was at a 0.261. So they was it 0.3. What did they
something.
say?
318 was the highest that they
318. Yeah,
anticipated.
suspected 318.
University of Utah Burn Clinic and instructed to see a general practitioner and orthopedic surgeon. I had more MRIs and X-rays due to problems in my pelvis, my back, and my neck. That is when they found that I had broken vertebrae in multiple places in my back and my neck. And I still have issues there today. I spent 6 months in physical therapy until my insurance told me I ran out of visits. Your Honor, this is just a list of the physical injuries, and most of them I'm still dealing with. I will need to have a hip replacement, fusion of my SI joint, and possible fusion of my vertebrae in my neck and my back. This will continue to be a burden that we'll have to deal with financially, physically, and emotionally for the rest of my life. The hardest part of this, the whole incident, is the mental and emotional side. Your Honor, my wife and kids saw me in a state they should never see me. I am unable to be the husband or father that I was or wanted to be in the future. I should be seen as their protector, their rock. My kids, my wife now watch me go downstairs to make sure I can make it. They come out and carry things in from my truck or from our cars because I can't carry them. These are all things that I can do on my own before. And I can't even do stuff around the house. I can't get on the ground, fix a faucet that's leaking. I can't get on the ground, pull weeds, or fix sprinklers. Wrestle with my boys, run football routes, throw passes, swing a bat, swing golf clubs, be a catcher for my son when he wants to pitch. I can't even go for a run. I don't even like to run, but I can't go for a run. I would love to be able to do TikTok dances with my daughter, like I used to.
Don't do TikTok dances.
These are all things that have been taken from us.
There is a civil lawsuit against her, and her pleading guilty today probably won't help her in that one.
My hobby was hiking, fly fishing, ice fishing, skiing. I get so frustrated that there's so many things that I can't do. And stuff that I do around my house, I now have to hire somebody to do. But before I could just do it on my own. And whenever someone leaves our house,
Have a great night. And
Yeah.
as always, when you're hanging out with us, victim impact statements are horrible. I normally don't do them because they're horrible.
Yeah.
But Chad voted and we applied. I don't know. That's not the right word. Always remember your own mental health. You are the only one who can feel it. Mo and I and Jemima will do whatever we can to break up the, oh, this feels like my heart is trying to get out of my body moments by saying something
Yes.
stupid like I love you. So remember, if you need a break, take a break. You can
Yes,
always
absolutely.
come back, never come back, do whatever you feel like, because I'm a cold-hearted bastard. I'll ride through most of it. That's why I have liquor. But take breaks if you need them.
Wine in a sippy cup, because I'm classy.
I'm fancy, not like the other girls who drink straight out the back.
Well, it was either that or use the mini bottle, and I figured we were too close to Sarah Boone to, just chug out the bottle.
Porkies. I don't know
Porky
what a
flies.
Oh,
Eyes.
Is this
Porky's
a
is
Midwestern
the-
thing?
No, I think it's a British thing. I watch a lot of British true crime
Oh.
too.
But Porky's is a strip club.
Well, it can
I
have
think
many
barbecue.
meanings, I guess.
It's
He's
haven't
also
you
the pig.
you never seen Porky's?
No.
Great movies. Great movies. Kim Cattrall was in one of them.
So it happens all the time. We are nervous. And always checking on them to see where they're at. Hoping that they will make it home safe. It's a new fear for us. It's a new fear for me, just to even make it home. I have a golf ball in my truck that when I start getting
A
anxious,
little ball breaker.
anxiety when I'm driving, I can grab that golf ball and rub the dots, the dimples in it, to help ground me and help me calm down. And I always go back in my mind to that night, me being the driver, if there was something that I could have done,
Oh, that's the worst
something I
part.
could have done different.
Survivor's
I
guilt.
replay the events leading up to it constantly in my mind. Like Rogan going back to get the Sam's cell phone. How long we sat at a stoplight listening to a song. Could I have gone a different route? Could I have gone slower? Could I have gone faster? These are the things that I struggle with every day. Every day I'm in constant pain and have no way to get the relief that I have to go to work, I have a family to support, and I work in construction and drive a lot, so I can't take painkillers. When I get up in the morning, I say a prayer that the pain today will not be that bad, and then I'll be able to do the things that I need to do to take care of my pain. It is a daily struggle. Some days it's hourly. But I will not let James' choice to drink and drive that night keep me from trying every day to get better. Your Honor, I don't know Jamie. I don't know her personality. I've never talked to her. I don't plan on talking to her. But the decision to drive drunk that night was made well before April 28th, 2023. I'm a strong believer that people have a moral compass in their lives, whether we agree with that compass or not. Everybody has a moral compass, and Jamie made the decision that it was okay to drink and drive well before that night. There is a statement that Jamie made in one of the calls to her father, where she asked, "Why did this happen to me?" Like she didn't have control over this.
That's the part where we all said this is gonna come back to bite her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that that we heard that.
Your Honor, nothing happened to Jamie. Jamie happened to Sam. Jamie happened to Eric. Jamie happened to Brogan. Jamie happened to me. Jamie happened to everybody that was impacted by this. She chose well before that night to drink and drive, and it would be okay. It was not. I'm not sure that Jamie is remorseful. We are here today, a little over 19 months later, listening to her plead guilty. Even though I am thankful for that, and that we aren't going to trial, we did not get to delay the physical and emotional prison that Jamie put us in for 19 months. The evidence was there. Why did it take this long? Jamie will serve her time and the penalty that the court decides, and we will respect that. She will eventually get out, but the prison that she has put us in will be with us the rest of our lives. We will never get Sam back. Our lives will never be the same. I think about having grandchildren and not being able to get on the ground and play with them. I know the court will do what it needs to do, and we will accept that. And I thank you for your time, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Honor. Eric Hutchinson.
Yeah, Eric, A-R-I-C,
And your last name, sir?
Hutchinson.
Oh, this is gonna be rough.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't make this.
Sam was my wife. I was sitting next to her on the golf cart. I've been thinking about what to say ever since that night. What do you say when your world's shattered? Physically, I'm in pain every day. My face hurts, my back hurts, my feet hurt. It's a struggle to get through every day. I've seen more doctors than I can count. I've seen more therapists. More psychiatrists, done more procedures than I ever cared to do. And I still feel I'm at the same point as when I found out that day. My world will be ever changed what happened that night. I think about that night every single day. In the last moments I had with Sam on the golf cart. She told me she didn't want the night to end. And I kissed her on the forehead. And then the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital. I see my mom's face, still wearing the wedding dress from the night before. And I knew instantly. And so I asked where Sam. I knew she wasn't there. I wish more than anything gives me instead of Sam. I wish I died that night, so she didn't have to go alone. I wish I saw you coming. And I jumped off the golf cart so you would only run me over. And pray to God that you missed that golf cart. We did not get hit. We got ran through at 65 miles per hour. There's no way any three of us should be alive. All four of us should have died that night. But I'm a firm believer Sam saved us. That's who she is. And she would have took one for all of us. Said, take me, save these guys. The guilt with that I live with every single second of every day is unbearable. You took the greatest human being I've ever met. She's not coming back. She's gone. She was my world. And I'd give anything just for 1 second to hold her. She wanted children, and she talked me into having two. She wanted them so bad that she wanted to start having kids, or trying to have kids before the wedding. I was nervous that she wouldn't be able to fit into her wedding dress. So we decided to wait till after the wedding to start a family. I don't have joy, I don't have passion, I don't have drive. I feel like I'm stuck in hell. I wish every day that I had that.
Oh, the beeping is in court.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's like to vow to protect your wife and to do anything for her, and then to lose her hours after that? Something nobody should have to go through. This tragedy has touched so many people around the world. I've received letters, messages, strangers all over the country or the world just at home with a lot of people. And they have shown so much love and support. Your sentence does not matter to me. If I had it my way, I'd give you life. It seems only fair since you took Sam's life and the holes that you've ripped through our entire family, my family, and all our friends. But I know that decision is not up to me. Regardless of what decision is made, I still will be in this hell. I still will have to go through everything. My brother-in-law will still have pain, will still have surgery. Sam's family will still miss their daughter and sister. Sam was a light to all of us. She was the wrong person to die that night. This is a quote from Sam's vows. She said, I will love you today, tomorrow, and until I take my last breath on this earth. I am forever yours. No hours before you get lived. Thank you for your time, Gavin.
There's nothing further. We'll leave that discretion for dealing with facts and circumstances, such as people themselves.
Your Honor, of course, indulgence, I'd like to address the court and argument on behalf of Ms. Komoroski. Thank you.
Proceed.
Various other sentences.
Must take a break before sentencing.
Hopefully, staff, that.
I am.
You may proceed.
Oh, he said he wanted to have a sidebar.
May it please the court, I have had the privilege of representing Jamie Komoroski for the last 18 months. And before I get into my sentencing argument, I would just like to take a moment to truly express my deepest condolences to the Miller family, the Hutchinson family, the Garrett families. And my entire defense team, as well as the Komoroski family. We are truly regretful that you have to go through this. And I hope that your injuries will eventually clear up. And I'm so sorry that
It's very common on that island. It's a very small island with it's almost like a resort. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of golf carts running around. There's a 25 miles per hour ban on vehicles on the entire island. So it's
also common near beaches and stuff.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
street legal golf carts. It's not a golf cart. It's a street legal. So it's fully road legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the drunks around my neighborhood, you know, driving around.
Why are you asking me a question and then tell me what to do?
Well, I
It's
think she's seen it before and she's giving you
Yeah.
a hint that maybe something might have happened.
yeah, but it's
I could
just
be wrong though.
it's a red question mark is a question. See,
Oh,
it was just a joke. I was about to say
I think she
you
was just
are-
trying to flag it for you.
I was about to say you are like my ex-wife, saying, "What do you want to eat?" No, I want this. You live in a beach command. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't. It's so small. No one drives a car except to get to the beach house that they're staying at. You park and then you take golf carts.
Yeah.
85 years.
Yeah, I think it was 85.
Yeah, 3 to 85 years in total.
Yeah.
Oh, see, again reminds me of my ex-wife.
our entire defense team and the Komoroski family cannot fathom the pain that these lovely families are going through. And while we know it's never enough, we genuinely convey those deepest sympathies and prayers. And I want the court and everyone in the courtroom to know that Jamie has heard the calls for punishment. And as you will soon hear, she recognizes those calls are justified. Punishment is one cornerstone of our criminal justice system. And punishment is warranted here. No one is contesting that. Most importantly, Jamie. And we also recognize that punishment serves deterrence purposes. It ensures that people are accountable for crimes that are committed, especially those that, like in this case, involve victims. Here has been highlighted a beautiful bride lost her life, and several were seriously injured. That's, as I mentioned, that is not lost upon me, the Komoroskis, our entire defense team, Your Honor. We also just respectfully ask this court to equally consider various other sentencing factors that are likewise cornerstones to the criminal justice system. Factors that we submit are material to fashioning an appropriate sentence here. And those factors necessarily include Jamie's history, her character, her rehabilitative potential, which must be equally weighed with the need to protect society, to deter and to punish. It is my hopeful goal to convey to this honorable court that there is more to Jamie than just the person who committed these terrible crimes and who made these terrible decisions on April 28th. Jamie is a 27-year-old girl who stands before this court with no prior criminal offenses. She's never before been charged with a crime, save a couple minor traffic violations, never even been disciplined for a single infraction. Through her entire life, Jamie has maintained a warm and caring outlook on life for all those around her. She's strived to help others even from a young age, entrusted by so many to care for infants and young children in some of the families where she grew up and in the Charleston metro area. This compassion and care is what caused Jamie to volunteer annually in high school to support the Special Olympics, a cause that was near and dear to her heart since she was a young child. As the court heard, Jamie attended college in Coastal Carolina and obtained her science and business administration degree. And she ended her career at college on the dean's list, ultimately moving to Charleston after graduating in hopes that there would be employment that she could sustain. Maintaining full-time employment, like for so many others, proved elusive for this young graduate. But instead, Jamie took a number of part-time jobs, including continuing babysitting services and working in the service industry in and around the Folly Beach area. Now, sadly, since her college graduation, Your Honor, Jamie has struggled with the demons of alcohol abuse. That is obviously clear here today. And this is something that has likewise challenged her extended family. Jamie was abusing alcohol on a near daily basis and oftentimes well over an excess. And her
She was doing babysitting with an alcohol problem. Tell me how I should like this woman. This is the part where I should feel sorry for her. And now
Well,
you're
and
telling me
let's
she was
be
babysitting while drunk?
well, and let's be real. She did the extracurriculars. She did the volunteering to
Yeah.
look good on college transcripts. She wasn't overwhelmed with, altruism from all that I've seen. Her
No.
first thoughts were of herself. She
Yeah.
knew that she wasn't going to get scholarships and she needed to get into a good college to please daddy. So I'm sorry. Also, what is it with these chicks that are like, she's never had a crime before, but she hit her first crime out of the bar, like out of the stadium, field goal? I don't know. It's a sports thing.
Out of the park.
There we go. I knew it was a word.
No, but again, I hate these sob stories, and of course he should do whatever, blah blah. I always preach that they
Yeah.
should be good to defense attorneys, but it's such a lame ass excuse. She had alcohol problems. She have a millionaire dad. If she was so hit by the alcohol bottle that she couldn't escape it, I know you can go to a lot of nice places. You can get a lot of other drugs in these places. Um, it happens every time one of these rich kids f up. They take 6 months in Club Med and work on their problems. This young lady did nothing. Oh, she couldn't get a job. She had what? Was it a business managing degree, or what was her
Yeah, but
degree
those
in?
are like high school degrees here. Pretty much
Yeah.
everyone gets a business degree of some sort. They're oversaturated.
Okay, but if the best she could do was move to a party town and babysit and attend bars,
Oh no, she could have done way better than that probably.
she
Especially
should
up in
probably-
New Jersey.
Yeah, she didn't want to work hard. She wanted to go in an executive
Mhm.
thing. Kids these days don't see their dad hustle and grind it for, 40 years to get what he has. He
Yeah.
started out with, milk crate cans and a futon, just like the rest of us, probably.
Yeah, and I just have this stupid entitlement. I hate. I taught my girls that you're not going to inherit anything. You have to work for it, because that's how I was brought up. And yeah, there was a little bit on the coffin floor when my parents went away. There'll probably be a little bit when I go away for my kids, but make them work. My
Yeah.
my oldest daughter, she again when she got her not degree, but did her finishing things for her education, and felt the workplace she was in wasn't really her, and she was afraid that, oh, should I go out test the market? She got headhunted by 5 different people. One of them, even though she was a 20-year-old girl, said, we want you to come to our company and start our entire division working
Yeah.
with this, because we have heard so much good about you. This
Mhm.
lady serves in a taco bar. My youngest girl, who can't figure out what to do and who just got a high school degree, she tends bars. That's what you do when you. It's a step up from serving burgers at McDonald's. This one
Oh,
is
I really
probably
could go
calling.
for a burger right now.
Don't say it's 12:30.
I said,
All
it's
right,
probably
you
close to
Uber-
dinner time for you.
You Uber eat something. I'll
We
make
don't
Mr.
have
Mo
Uber
go
in
get me some.
Denmark. Uber is illegal because it ruins taxi companies monopoly on the market. So we have Volt.
I will
That-
pray for you, Baker. I don't know what
Right.
to do with that statement. Like, how do you?
So you don't
how
have
do
like
you-
DoorDash?
We have something called Volt and
Oh,
something else. But I can get my fat ass in my car in 2 minutes. And I can be at the McDonald's in 5 minutes and back here in less than
I
15
have
minutes.
been drinking wine, Baker. I can't.
But I don't
So
drink.
there's
So
well, true.
but it's still I was raised by poor parents, so
Believe me, I have never Grubhubbed. I have looked at it and I'm like, that is, you
Oh,
are
I
not
DoorDash
paying
all the time.
someone. Oh, I feel too embarrassed. I am like, no one needs to see you in like your scut clothes,
Oh,
just
they can just drop
hankering
it on
for.
your like deck or your stairs.
Wait, there doesn't have to be any personal contact. Never mind.
No,
No shame. I am going to.
Grubhub it is.
you could
Uh,
do
yes, of
contactless
course.
delivery.
We do
Okay, do
have
you-
Volt and one other company. I don't know, but and of course we have pizza delivery, but I'm too cheap to get pizza delivery because I can call the pizza man, say I'll be there in 15 minutes, and he'll have my meat lover special ready, and I'll be home. And it'll cost me $5 in gas instead of paying $60 for a guy to bring it to me.
True. Dang it. Baker being all
Addiction, I wanna make
fiscally
this point
responsible
very
and
clearly
crap.
to the court. It is not offered as an excuse to her conduct whatsoever, or to make it appear that she somehow is the victim. We all recognize, most importantly, Jamie, that is not the case. She knows no one forced her to drink or drive a car. She, more than anyone in this courtroom, knows that. And I raise this only to demonstrate that her alcohol addiction, the level and scope of it, played a central role in how we arrived here today. And as the court is well aware, this is unfortunately not a unique tale for those who struggle with alcohol abuse. Jamie undoubtedly made a tragic and terrible decision to get behind the wheel of a car on April 28th while significantly intoxicated. It was her decision, and no one else's. And I can tell you, after talking to Jamie on a near daily basis during the entire course of my representation, this evening continues to haunt her.
Near
and
daily?
will continue to do so for the rest of her life, no matter what happens in this courtroom today. Every day, Jamie tells me she wishes she could go back and change what she did, to shake that young girl to her senses. Even Jamie will admit that she doesn't recognize who she was back then, a sentiment that candidly even friends have shared, but unfortunately she can't. Now, Your Honor, it's often been said that character is truly demonstrated in times of struggle and failure, not in times of success. And in that vein, and in that concept, I ask the court to consider Jamie's actions and behavior since these tragic events of April 28th, in addition to her personal history and characteristics. Jamie has not approached this with a woe is me attitude or felt sorry for herself or tried to endorse anything.
Yes, she did. Daddy, why is this happening to me?
And he said, "Sweetie, bad things sometimes happen to good people."
Yeah.
And then his lawyer said, "Are you both? Y'all went full hillbilly. Only the R word. Y'all went full, late and French on this. Are you kidding me?" And that's why we got to a plea deal, because the lawyer was like, those are recorded. They in fact warn you every time you get on the damn phone.
Well, the dad acknowledges it at like the beginning of one. We have to talk and then wait for like 3 or 4 seconds because there's a delay because they're recording it. He literally says it
Yeah.
at the beginning of one of them.
Well,
Jamie liked Five Guys. I never tried it.
It's really good.
I have never tried it.
I'll try
It's
it.
messy.
I'll try it when I come to a state that has it.
Instead,
I
she
need
immediately
one more
accepted
fast
addiction
food I
and
love.
embraced the need for alcohol treatment.
The good thing is I can eat it in the U.S. and can't get it here, so I'll have something to look forward
While there
to.
were inherent limitations in the substance and depth of that treatment, she did what she could.
When you say inherent limitations, what are you referring to?
She was not able to be visited by a therapist while she was at Alcan. And based on the
How long
restrictions,
was she at?
she was there for a year. Court will indulge me for
I
one
call
moment.
BS on that.
Yeah.
April 28, 2023, until her release on March 1st, 2024.
She didn't want to. It was more like it.
Avail herself of the programs at the jail.
The programs are very limited based on the ability to communicate with inmates there.
McDonald's closes
Um,
in
There's
20
a
minutes.
program, the 16 weeks that's available. Someone could have asked it if you ordered. She could have well taken advantage of
No,
that.
no, Your Honor, to be sure, she did. I'm talking about more substantive treatment, which obviously
Here is a substantive program.
she did avail herself.
She did do the peer program.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, Your Honor, one second.
Did she do the peer program as well? It's an acronym, PIER. It's a substance abuse intensive program that's 16 weeks at the jail. It's offered by Charleston Center. It's substantive drug and alcohol treatment. You have to sign up for it. I'll come seek you out. Yeah. So she did not. Okay, you may continue. That's okay.
Ooh, judge spitting facts like, yeah, Betty Ford does travel to the
As the court
jails.
heard, she's been participating in AA meetings while detained at Alcan, and since her
She didn't
receipt
want to
of
seek
release
it out when
from
she was in
house
jail
arrest,
because she was still in
participating
heavy
meetings 6
denial.
days a week. She has hosted in-person meetings at her apartment every Friday and also chairs an AA meeting on a weekly basis. Jamie has also volunteered to answer the AA hotline once a week, trying to offer steady and experienced counseling to individuals who may be in crisis.
So why didn't she try to get some inpatient treatment? What was the impediment to that? Or having something, not that I'm knocking AA because I don't, it is for many, it is a great program that assists them, but it usually follows something more substantive, such as intensive inpatient treatment or ongoing intensive outpatient treatment. And I think that's the question that I'm more interested, or most interested in hearing. When you say someone's
Also,
available
how
for
can she be an
substance
AA
use,
counselor when she's only got like
We
6
attempted
months
to
of
do that, Your Honor, when
sobriety?
we had her detention or bond hearing. In fact,
she's
there's
been out since March 21st, so let's go from there forward.
an extremely restricted house arrest.
And she's under house arrest. How she can be a telephone counselor, maybe.
And as I understand it, unable to facilitate the visits unless we were to go to a facility. Where she could go
Go
to
back
that
for
facility.
permission to do, correct? And so that's what I'm,
Her bond hearing actually states that she can get medical treatment, which would be
Yeah.
alcohol abuse treatment.
And if you were unsure, you can, I don't know, petition the court.
Yeah,
Yeah, talk to
what
the
kind of
parole officer.
strategy? Yeah, say I really want something intensive. Could I possibly, get into an inpatient program? Could I do an intensive counseling for
No, I
this?
guarantee she didn't see it as a problem. She just saw it as an extension of her college drinking days.
Yeah,
And yeah, I guarantee her dad said, "Oh, AA is just fine. You'll host some classes. It'll be like your mom's Tupperware parties,
Mm-hmm.
and the judge will see it, and you'll get away scot-free."
yeah, and judges love that stuff. Just stack it on your CV. And this judge said she didn't do any of this shit.
Yep.
there was no attempt to have any type of treatment of that sort.
Endorsement of that permission from the state was not forthcoming, Your Honor.
Did you ask?
We did, we had those discussions.
We had those discussions is a good way of saying we asked and
That's
didn't really press it.
Yep.
You may.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
While detained at Alcan, she obtained a professional skills credential from South Carolina Works in digital literacy while she was detained. And following her release under the House release conditions, as she alluded to, she's been working 2 jobs, trying to continue to be a contributing member as best as she could under the circumstances to society. She worked remotely as a web designer, and then one colleague through AA was so compelled by her that she hired her as a remote digital marketing assistant, which I'm told is the
Did she
job
offer her a kidney
avail
too?
herself of, ultimately when she's released. As you'll soon hear from Jamie herself,
A digital marketing assistant. So that's a telephone caller.
You know what,
Right.
Baker? We need to make sure our assistant isn't trying to use us to get out of prison.
Jemima, how many pending litigations do you have? I bet you that's all the wrenches we're giving out is people who just need
Pending litigations? None. No.
It's a TikTok. She's probably her friend has an OnlyFans, and she's the one who takes out all the cellulite.
Well, it's better than Courtney Clenny's dad. I guess I feel mildly less horrified by Courtney Clenny's dad being her manager. Like, honey, the hostile taco tuna thing, the can is a functified. Spray
Oh.
some.
She had to be at home because she was under strict house arrest. No, it's
she deeply regrets these decisions that she made on April 28th. And since the day we were retained, she's been heartbroken for Samantha, Eric, and the families that were involved in this ever since the crash. It's important, and I know she wants me to express this, that she is a daughter and sister, and she has, since day one, expressed her sorrow and remorse for the actions that she committed. This has been Jamie's goal and intention ever since we were retained, but on the advice of counsel, we recommended that she hold back on that. There was a period of time where discovery was not available for a while, and any delay in this guilty plea should be attributed solely to our obligation, our ethical and professional obligation to explore defenses and mitigation possibilities, not because of Jamie's failure or unwillingness to plead guilty and exhibit remorse and accept her responsibility. One instance, as attached in our sentencing memorandum, related to a time where we needed to retain a blood alcohol forensics toxicologist to review the state's findings, and we have attached counter findings to that.
Did you all provide a hard copy of the mitigation packet that you provided to the court? Mr. Williams indicated he planned to bring one with him.
Yes, sir, I have one.
And do you wish to have that filed?
Yeah,
You already filed it?
We have an active version with filed.
No, I haven't seen anything. The chick from Teen Mom.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Don't
We have our own
think so.
program in Denmark called The Young Mothers.
Oh, is it just as trashy as ours?
The newer episodes is not good. The old ones, you know those plastic bags you use if you're putting a chicken in the oven or something to keep the moisture
Oh, yeah.
in. Special plastic bags that can take heat in the oven.
Yes, they're
This
called
couple-
oven roasting bags.
Yeah, this couple just takes a plastic bag and
Chicken a la Ziploc.
and then they are being interviewed and say, "Yeah, well, the doctor said that she doesn't eat enough vegetables, and he eats the same as us. And French fries is potatoes. That's vegetables." And then there was the good one. She was a mom at 14, Malou Stella, and her mom says, "Hey, I know you're going to the Harbor Fest tonight, so remember to take your pills." To your 14-year-old daughter, I would say, "You don't leave the house, you little
Yeah.
slut. You already got." And she was very famous because people started saying, "Oh, that one? Yeah, give her a line of coke and she'll do whatever you want." So she was very
Jesus.
famous.
Apparently, Denmark has its own teen moms, and it's just as train wreck as it is here.
It's
Apparently.
lovely. We watched it a lot back in the day, but now it's gone all, "Oh, we can raise our own kids and haven't." Well, there was this one chick. She was at the meeting with the CPRS, and they said, "Yeah, as soon as you give birth, we're going to take it away. You clearly can." Then she walks outside and starts kicking the social worker's car and threatens to kill her on camera. So that kid was removed.
As I referenced, we included findings of our forensic toxicologist who's retained on behalf of the defense, but I want to emphasize that regardless of that lower BAC, that Jamie recognizes the gravity of her crimes and has consistently shown unabated remorse for her actions. I offer that only for the court's consideration in the context of mitigation, and we certainly recognize that regardless, it is above the legal limit. Your Honor, taking all this together, we respectfully submit that Jamie has demonstrated and continue to demonstrate strong rehabilitative potential. And the prospect of her rehabilitation and restoration to a useful place in society, which are key legitimate interests in sentencing, is unquestionable. As you will hear from Jamie herself, she will never be an offender in the criminal justice system again. She continues.
They all
to
say
work
that.
on bettering herself and
Yeah, it's not like I plan to be a chronic felon, Your Honor.
She helps others by sponsoring and paying her terrible story forward of what happened to these families and seizing any opportunity to help other alcoholics in an effort to prevent further unnecessary death or injury. So, Your Honor, we ask that you consider these sentencing factors equally with the obvious need for deterrence, protection, and punishment that has been alluded to. We have cited for the court's consideration as it sees fit numerous empirical studies that show that there is limited relationship between sentence length and general or specific deterrence. And it actually demonstrates that longer incarceration could potentially be counterproductive for the types of individuals who have no criminal history like Jamie. But again, I leave that to the court's consideration. As I open with, Jamie recognizes that she is due a punishment for her crimes today. The court, as you heard me say, she's been detained at Alcannon from April 28, 2023 until her release on March 1st, 2024. And since her release, she's been fully compliant with the terms of her monitored house arrest. Pursuant to South Carolina Code Section 241340, we respectfully ask that the court grant Jamie credit for her time served under strictly monitored house arrest, of which she's had no violations. And should the court agree with that request, it would give Jamie a total of approximately 580 days jail credit.
Yes, we did the Sarah Boone, and then chat voted that instead of waiting for tomorrow, we did it tonight. So
We must be getting close.
some people
no,
talking.
As of today,
When was she released and placed on monitor?
March 1st, 2024.
Chat, why did we vote for this?
This is a terrible.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.
Incorporating this credit, we only ask that the court fashion a sentence that's sufficient
Oh,
but
I
not
should
longer
take
than
this down if
necessary.
we're
under
gonna
the
show
circumstances.
something.
It is genuinely hoped by Jamie and by all of us and her family that while she calls this
You're
great
complaining?
tragedy, her actions on this one day of her 27th
I'm
No.
complaining because it's dinner
not
time.
solely define her as a human, and the court will see that.
Not
It's
'cause I'm
0
tired.
Prior to
o'clock
becoming a
there.
defense attorney,
I don't know
Ron
what you're
spent
complaining
all of
about.
my
You're on
professional
0.
career as a federal and state prosecutor, including 10 years as an appointed district
Oh, I
attorney.
forgot. Yanks.
And I had the
Note.
unfortunate obligation to determine countless plea offers and felony DUI
I don't know how to
in a
do
dense jurisdiction of
time.
nearly 700,000 people. And sadly, these types of cases are not an uncommon occurrence.
Jamie's family talk.
To be sure, these are the most difficult, gut-wrenching cases to assess. And as is the case here, defendants are typically people who have lived very productive lives with no criminal record. And I just want to highlight that I believe the court is familiar with. These defendants don't set out to commit crimes with malice or evil in their hearts. But nonetheless, those actions that they take have destroyed or taken lives. Balancing the interests of the state, the victims, and the defendant is extremely difficult. And Jamie here is no different. She has chosen to plead guilty to her crimes without the protection of a plea agreement. The court should see this, I hope, as evidence of Jamie's genuine remorse and acceptance of responsibility for her actions. She never intended to challenge these charges because she knew what she did was wrong the minute that it happened. She would never put the
Did
Millers,
she?
Hutchinsons, or the remaining family members through the pain of a trial, having gone through what they already have.
Thank you, Tash, for becoming a new YouTube member.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Church of Mo. We have sarcasm, wine tumblers, and dark humors.
I need to make wine tumblers. Although this current case might not be the time to start, forging that new product line.
Well, it's if you put a "don't drink and drive" on the bottom of it, it'll be
Your
fine.
Honor, I say the last concept for what I submit is the most fundamental cornerstone of the criminal justice system, and that's mercy. Mercy is not often spoke of in the courtroom, but the courtroom is precisely where the place where mercy should exist, especially considering the nature of felony DUI cases where tragedy exists on both sides of the beat. It is difficult to keep mercy at the forefront, especially when a beautiful life like Samantha's has been taken and wonderful people that stand and sit behind me have been through what they've been through.
Well,
But I
here's
humbly
the
submit
Red Sox girl.
this is where mercy plays the biggest part. Jamie and our defense team are not arguing for release. As stated, we recognize that punishment is warranted here. What we simply ask the court is this 27-year-old girl with no criminal history, who struggles to face the demons of alcohol abuse, and who made a tragic error in judgment to drink and drive, who has no history of violence, and who most importantly has regretted and has been remorseful for her actions since the moment she committed them. Is this girl deserving of the court's mercy? We humbly submit the answer is yes, and under these circumstances, ask the court to properly fashion a sentence that is sufficient but not greater than necessary to punish the conduct here. Jimmy's a young girl who made a truly terrible error in judgment.
She's 27.
There but for
I
the
had
grace of God
4
below
kids
all.
by then.
I hate that everyone is a young person until they're dead. It's
Hmm.
We
My
are
new
raising
favorite place-
kidults.
favorite place to be. Love the chat, even Zach. Well, you'll grow to. You won't been here for 3 months. He'll even you will come to dislike him. Tulsa King. I was watching one centered around wrestling. Heels, I think it's called. That's a good one too. And the mayor of Kingstown.
That concludes my argument, Your Honor. With the court's permission, I would invite some of the members of the Komoroski family and other supporters to address the court.
I have a list of 7 people, is that, well, not including your client, I have a list of 6 people. Is that what
7?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
you may proceed?
Can we like
Thank you.
1.5 times
First,
her
I'd like to
family?
invite to address the court
Can we
James
2
Father,
times her
Charles
family?
Komoroski, who's
I was trying to be nice.
Yes, sir. please say
I
your name.
wasn't.
My name's Charles Komoroski.
Yes, sir, be glad to hear from you.
Your Honor, I'd like to address the Mets family, the Motors, and Eric Hutchinson family. I'm very sorry for the pain and suffering. And my daughter Jamie's terrible city, who's been successful now with alcohol,
I can't understand a word you're saying.
car.
I think that's more of a volume thing than anything.
I'm so very sorry, and so truly very sorry. Because of the pain that she has caused, Jamie is doing everything she can to help others. She has become very involved with Alcoholics Anonymous. She attends virtual Alcoholics Anonymous meetings every day. She is the chairperson of one of the meetings. She hosts a meeting every Friday morning in her home, at her apartment. She volunteered to be on call for the alcohol.
Well, they claim she's doing Alcoholic Anonymous online, but she's also on a scram device, so she can't drink.
Alcoholics Anonymous hotline. She answers calls from people that are in immediate need of support and information. She advises them on how to get involved with Alcoholics Anonymous and also reassures them that they are taking the first step to getting help for their addiction. She shares her personal story so that they prevent others from drinking and driving. She is passionate about trying to help people to not drink and drive. She is a very caring, loving young lady. She's working and will work tirelessly to help others to make better decisions than she has to never drink and drive. She has taken full responsibility for her disastrous decision to drink and drive.
Again, when?
Taking this man's life. Please allow her to fulfill her heartfelt desire to help others to prevent someone from making a tragic decision to drink and drive. She truly is a wonderful person that can and will help others. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
I'm very sorry.
And thank you to Jens Tooth for the 3 corner kisses over on Buy Me a Coffee.
Tracy Komoroski will address the court next.
Yes, ma'am, be glad to hear from you. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Tracy Komoroski. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, could you spell your first name for the record?
T-R-A-C-I.
Thank you, ma'am, you may proceed.
I'm James' mother. And first, I want to say how truly sorry I am for all the pain and suffering and heartache.
And of course they are on the cheek because you're a nice
Memories
woman.
and loved ones have endured. With my sorrows, I will always feel the pain. I will not feel the pain, I will feel bad for what has happened to everyone. Jamie is compassionate, caring, generous, and a loving person. She's been a loyal friend, sister, and daughter. She greatly cares for others and wants the best and happiness for others. This makes her happy. Jamie was a good student who graduated from Coastal Carolina College and made Dean's List. She chose to stay in South Carolina to live rather than come back home to New Jersey. A couple years after college, Jamie started to share with me that she had been suffering from anxiety and depression. We spoke about talking to someone and seeing a doctor, which she did. I often thought her anxiety and depression was due to being homesick and lonely, and perhaps this is the daily stress of life. I now believe Jamie was using alcohol to cope with her feelings. I will forever regret not speaking to Jamie about alcoholism because it's been our immediate family.
Yes.
Jamie has been doing everything she can to better herself. As I know these things are being repeated, but this is what I wrote down. She has been involved with AA and its members. She joins meetings on one, answers AA hotline calls to help others. Jamie is constantly sharing her story, constantly help others from making the same mistakes she has. She has opened her heart to many.
Did like Dad just pass off his own notes to her because it sounds the same?
But I do ask for some mercy on my daughter. I know she made a horrible decision, but she is a good person. And I think
Well, I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
It'd be so hard to say, look, she's my daughter and I love her, but she did a terrible thing and she needs to pay her price to
Yeah.
to society and to this family. I hope that this court may have mercy on her, but I can understand if it doesn't. It's
There
almost like
is
you
Sounds
could
fine.
say that.
there is a civil suit going on, and now she's pled guilty. She's probably going to lose that civil suit. Why is this lady crying? Because her daughter is a piece of cribbly crap. Yes, she pled guilty to 1 count of felony DUI homicide, 3 counts of felony DUI great bodily
Grave
harm.
bodily injury.
Wait, refresh my memory. Is this the mom that ran over a firefighter too?
Yes.
Yeah, this
Yep.
family's a gem. Did her mom tell her about AA? Or was she stone cold sober when she ran over the, fire guy?
Well, that was all. It was decided to be an accident, but there were a lot of rumors locally that she had a
Yeah.
little drinky poo in the blood. But it's kind of like in other cases, if you don't test them before the alcohol had left the body, they didn't drive drunk. Just ask Brian Albert. No, Chris Albert. The Albert who got 6
Chris
months in
Albert.
prison for
Who
killing a
isn't
guy.
getting drunk in Canton and driving? I mean, apparently the entire police department.
Chris Albert actually unalived someone via DUI
Yeah.
in like the
Well,
90s.
No, not via DUI. They didn't prove him because they couldn't find him.
Yeah.
He turned himself in the next day when he was sober. So it was just a hit and run.
Oh, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yes, Your Honor. Next, I would invite Jimmy's sister, Kelsey Komoroski, to address the court.
Assist.
Ma'am, can you tell us your name for the record?
This
Oh my
is the
God.
part of the victim impact statement I don't like. The family, yes, the close of the victim. The impact this B word is going to do on her own family, Mel, tough cookies. I don't think they have any right to speak.
Where is Penny Problem Glasses to explain that the birth of her sibling just detached her from all parental love, and that's why she's done this?
Yeah. I feel this, but it's the same with Sarah Boone. I didn't like, of course, she can make a statement, but the rest of them, I don't like it.
I don't know. I kind of like Kidney Lady. She acknowledged me.
Thank you, ma'am. You may proceed. You're welcome.
No, they claim in the mom's accident, because it was foggy, you couldn't see the siren, the lights on an emergency vehicle.
Even though
which
it was
is
on a burn road where you're not
this-
supposed to drive.
And a
designed
fire engine
to-
is flipping red.
Yeah, and it's designed, the lights are designed to exactly make them noticeable in fog because they have to go and do stuff in fog a lot of times. Don't think about it. Smoky, not foggy. It's the same thing.
Fog repellent.
So sorry, and nothing that today. I wish there was a way.
Ma'am, we need you to speak up for us, please. The court can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I wish there was a way to go back in time and change the horrible decisions that Katie made that night. And I can only imagine the depth of your sorrow and your heartbreak, that I am truly, truly sorry. I know a lot of people have spoken about what Jamie has done since being released and coming onto house arrest. And I think the biggest note here is that she's just taken as much action as she can. It was an action that caused a death, and I know she's going to vow and commit herself to placing actions out in the world that could hopefully right these wrongs in one way or another. She's here to help others through their struggles and to be more open about struggles.
We're not Rosa Parks of booze, ma'am.
Yeah.
From moving forward to something so devastating happening. I love Jerry very much, and I'm sure that's hard for some people to hear, but I've known her whole life. She's not a bad person. She won't wish harm on
Well,
anyone.
she is.
She did make a horrible mistake. I am very sorry to Ben's families and loved ones. And I just ask the court sees.
She did it because she pled guilty.
Yep.
This is victim impact statement. We are just waiting. I think The next one talking will be the woman who pled guilty in 4 counts of felony DUI.
Potential in her to be able to move forward and help others. I know she will, wherever she may be.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Thank you, next I invite Kim Walters to address the court.
Ooh.
Maybe she's her kidney chick.
Kimberly Walters. First of all, I'm deeply sorry for the loss of Samantha, as well as the financial implications, as well as the implications for family. My name is Kimberly Walters, and I'm a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been
It's her AA supervisor
I
or
take
whatever.
meetings to jail, and that's where I met the defendant, Jamie. I met her in May 2023. She was extremely sad when I met her, and she didn't grasp the situation. While in Jamie, she had limited access to counseling while she was in jail, but she did attend the AA meetings that we brought in from the outside. We provided her with a big book, and she started.
Didn't the judge or you determine that she didn't take advantage of the counseling available in jail?
When she was released,
There's no other counseling than AA, Jedi. That's the only booze hound anonymous.
We went to the big book. We began working with the 12 steps of AA. And AA is not just a fellowship, it is a way of life. It's a way of life for me and many others to keep me sober. I work with other alcoholics. She is taking complete action for accountability for her actions, and she's made amends where she can. Jamie approaches part of the process with fearless determination to turn her life around and take responsibility for her actions. She made the direct amends where she could.
I don't have a problem as such with alcohol, but it sounds a little cultish. It's not just something you do, it's a way of life. Yeah, I know it's really important to have these accountability things, but it just sounds a little cultish sometimes, especially with these council people. It sounds, yeah.
And she took on a path of honesty and integrity. Through her involvement in AA, we've heard all the great things she's done, whether it be hosting meetings at her home, reaching other
What about me?
alcoholics, or sharing her story. It's tragic, tragedy itself. In addition to recovery efforts, she's also done a part-time job, using her education to better herself and care for herself.
A part-time job,
This opportunity
not a full-time,
has
like
allowed
most
her to
adults.
continue to advance her career. She's passionate
Hey, she's a
about
web
helping
designer
others, as we've heard, and helping other local
and a
residents.
part-time OnlyFans editor.
As we all know,
She's doing
what has
yeoman's
occurred
work
is a tragic
here.
accident as a result of the disease of alcoholism. While there's no true right way to right this wrong, Jamie is deeply remorseful of her past actions, and I care for her. She was my own daughter. She's thoughtful, kind, and passionate. This tragic experience has unfortunately awakened her and had her claim that she's now an alcoholic, and she's now embraced the principles of AA. In my many years of Alcoholics Anonymous, I have worked with many sponsees as part of this program. We can't get sober alone, we do with others. We continue to carry the message to help other alcoholics. Jamie stands out to me as a brave, impactful person, not only because of her circumstances.
Don't nod when she says you're a brave, impactful person, you dumbass. She's like, that check my dad sent cleared. You will say I'm brave and beautiful
Right.
and have a neck.
And although she's remorseful for her choices, she is an alcoholic and she was sick. She did not make the decision consciously of saying no.
Oh my
But
God,
the name was
no.
Jens Toots, so I didn't know that was Laura Riker. That's sometimes the
Okay.
names are little. Lefty is Irish, so that's. I have to know your nicknames on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much,
okay.
Laura.
Can we all agree that yes, alcoholism may be a disease, like diabetes, but we don't tend to give them a bunch of Snickers. It's incumbent on the person that has diabetes or is retaining Mike and Ike's like I used to stop the 4-2 mouth, consumption. I am so flippin' tired of, they have an addiction. And
Yeah, and I for one don't buy into that idea that you must sit and relive your trauma.
No, hell no.
I think one of the things that back in the day when PTSD became a thing, we talked about, they did these group sessions where people were sitting and talking about the accident, and they stopped doing that
That makes it worse.
because then you're constantly reminded that, oh my God, I'm afraid to drive, I'm afraid to go outside, I'm afraid to, And now in Denmark, it's become a thing where they go into the woods or on an island or somewhere and stay out. And then if you need to talk about it, you are in a group where people have the similar experience. So you can sit down and say, jeepers, that time in Fallujah, whew, that wasn't fun. This force to talk about it isn't good. My dad, as a firefighter, he said, back in the day, in the old days where everything was wrong, he said a beer and a cigar, and they sat and talked about finding that person in that situation. That wasn't that fun. And they kind of got it out of the system. And but they talk to people they like to talk to, not some counselor sitting there saying, how did you feel when you felt that you felting something?
Have we all forgotten that things heal if you don't pick at the scar all the time? Yes, there are good times and with people that you feel comfortable where you can bring up these traumas or these things that you've gone through. But if you constantly pick to let the wound air out, all you do is constantly pick at that scar. I don't get it. I'm sure it helps some people, but to me, it seems like I've moved past it. If I ever get comfortable enough with you, therapist with the weird screaming bowl, maybe I'll let you in. But right now, I don't know you from Adam. I'm not going to pick open my scars for you.
Yeah, and addiction is not a defense or excuse, and there's so many options to not drive drunk. Exactly. I hate this entire argument, but she's better now. Yeah. But
Doesn't matter.
we are talking about she took a car while knowing, and everyone who takes a driver's test knows you are not allowed to drive while impaired. Boom. Don't talk about it. Don't use it as an excuse. The second you chose to have above the legal limit, you must take the ramifications. You can be the best driver with a 0.12 BAC, but if you're stopped by the police, you're a criminal. And you just say, I'm sorry.
But unfortunately, in alcoholism, this is a deadly disease and we make very poor choices. While nothing can be done to bring back Samantha, Jamie's a young woman with a full head of life ahead of her. She's already on the way to changing her life around and adding many, many years of sentence. Might be reckless as well. I have 2 teenage daughters, and while I'd be devastated if something happened to them, I would hate for another life to take away their length of sentence.
It's really easy for you to say when you have 2 teenage daughters still.
Yeah.
God, I hate these preachy ass people. I mean,
it's so easy to forgive when it's not your kid dead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next, I'd like to invite the director of the Charleston Recovery Center, Jennifer Jett, back to address the court.
Oh, come on. We just had the AA
can we
person.
skip
Do we really need
through?
another
Can we
one?
skip through recovery attic?
My name is Jennifer. From the liquor sponsor.
Thank you, Baker. I don't know how much I can deal with. She's 10 days sober.
Oh, is this Beyonce?
Wait.
So you could tell us your name for the record.
My name is CJ Komoroski.
You may proceed.
Oh, no, brother. Maybe?
Yeah.
Mr. and Miss Miller and Eric, I'm so sorry for what you lost and what you will not get back.
Son, come
I'll
back when
carry
you
this
can
day with me
shave.
as a reminder to forever and always be careful. And think twice to make sure nothing like this will ever happen again. I wholeheartedly believe in my sister Jamie that she truly does feel the same way. I trust her. I'm confident in her beliefs and her abilities to make something right out of all this. That is all. Thank you
Again,
all for
son,
your
come back when your testicles descend.
Oh, I mean, at least he was short.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
With permission, I'd like to invite Jamie up to address the court.
Wait, are her and her
Come back when
fiance
her
still together?
testicles. I
I
doubt
don't
it.
know.
I doubt Pena's going to wait for life for Sarah Booneisms to come back.
And on the night of April 28, 2023, I chose to drink and drive, which resulted in the death of Samantha Miller and the serious injuries of Eric Hutchinson and injuries to family members Defendant and Groom. This is the worst decision I have ever made in my life, and it has affected the lives of so many. First and foremost, I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused and say how truly and deeply sorry I am. 2 Due to my poor decisions, a beautiful life was taken. A wife, sister, daughter, and friend of many. This is no longer with us. And for that, while I know an apology will fix nothing, all I can say is how incredibly remorseful I am. I also am truly sorry and remorseful for the physical and emotional pain I caused to the other family members. I wish I could go back and undo this terrible tragedy, but I cannot. I will live the rest of my life with immense regret for what happened that night. I also want to express my deep remorse and sincere apologies to all who were involved in this tragedy, including the first responders, police, friends, and families of the victims, and anyone who was hurt in any way due to my poor decisions that night. This will be something that impacts all of you for the rest of your lives. I take full responsibility for the tragic outcome that my decisions have made. I will carry this guilt with me for the rest of my life. And as much as I wish I could go back in time and have none of this happen, I know that cannot be done. A lesson I have learned is that just because you have good intentions or would never want to hurt anyone, if you aren't being responsible for your actions, you can and you will hurt people.
Oh, so you learned that
I
at
know
27.
I'm
I
going
learned
to
that
be
in
punished for these
kindergarten.
actions, and I agree that it is something that must be done. I would like to make it clear that whatever my punishment is, I will use the time to better myself, spread awareness about the dangers of drinking and driving, continue to help others with addictions through AA, and work every day to improve myself to give maximum service to the community and my fellows. Some ways I plan on doing this include staying extremely involved in AA and the fellowship of helping people recover from their addictions. I am able to do this because I know what it is like to be an addict. I did not want to believe that I had an addiction to alcohol before this tragedy, and so I told myself every day I was normal. The fact was, though, that I was helplessly addicted to alcohol, and that I was living every day with no meaning. This led to me not caring about how my actions would affect others. I never want to live my life that way again, and I hope to help people to never have to feel that way as well. After completing my sentence, however long Your Honor decides, I plan on going back to school to get a master's degree in animal-assisted therapy. This degree will allow me to follow out my dreams of being able to...
Wait, what?
Animal assistance therapy.
Therapy.
So you can make my flight trip worse by people claiming I need a support animal.
Wait, can she
Probably
give me a
because
support mini cow? Because
She probably
I
can't
mean,
work in her field, like in the business field, because they're a lot about reputation.
I thought
But
she
it's
was going to
just-
say
just-
addictions counselor.
It's just another one of these shitty, I'll say it for the judge jobs.
Yeah.
I want to help therapy
Well,
guy
that's like
people.
Sarah wanted to be a vet tech. I mean, who the hell is going to put innocent puppies and kitties, even reptiles, near Sarah Boone?
Right?
Yeah. But
Though she might feel a kinship with reptiles, so, you know.
if I should have a support animal, I want to support buffalo.
I like it. You get a buffalo and I get a mini cow and we're good.
Can I have a
We
danger
make
floof one?
Can you have
Have
a
a
what?
what?
A danger floof one. You know, like a big scary cat.
Yes.
Or a wolf.
If friend shaped, why not act like friend?
I just want to
bear.
go up to the airport check-in and say, this is my support service animal. And them looking at this 1-ton beast and saying, I bet you I could get first class every time for free.
Probably.
Baker.
Or private jet.
Genius idea.
It's always rotating up there. Always.
Help people recover from PTSD, anxiety, depression,
What
addiction.
the hell do
and
you have
more.
PTSD over, ma'am?
Lastly, I want to share
Everyone
my
has
story with as
PTSD
many
these
people
days.
possible in order to try and prevent tragedies like this from happening to other families. I want to emphasize the importance of warnings of drinking and driving to college students as well as young adults who haven't heard the message since high school.
I haven't heard about drinking and driving since high school either, but I'm smart enough to remember, oh, you're not allowed to drink and drive. It's not that
Right.
someone has to come by every week and say, hey, Jobster, you know that 1,500 kilo thing you have standing outside my Buffalo? No, next to it. Oh, my car. Yes. You can't drink it while you're drunk. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. See you Monday.
I mean, I wouldn't ride the Buffalo either while drunk. That might end bad too.
That's
or
what we
it could be awesome. I mean, shirtless Baker riding his buffalo. I
in my
mean,
chaps.
yes.
It's gonna be a party.
It is vital that the warnings of drinking and driving don't stop after the age of 18. I feel we all need to be reminded, no matter what our age is.
No.
So that
I feel like
reality
this
Just
is a
don't do it.
no shoot Sherlock. Like,
I have never been in trouble before. but
Just
one
end
I
it with the pottery thing in the gold dust.
dedicated so many lives.
Land the plane.
Work I plan on doing will be dedicated to Samantha and her family.
oh, don't do that. Don't do
Oh,
that.
keep her name out your mouth. I've never felt more like Will Smith.
To the extent of my addiction. I hope to help people wake up and rehabilitate before it's too late. Because every single decision we make has consequences. And knowing you have taken a beautiful life from this world, it's something I will live with every moment of every day going forward. A life that should have lived on to fulfill all of her dreams and ambitions, who would have helped so many people in her life, all because of my own inconsiderate and thoughtless actions.
I love how the judge is
I
just
want the
doing
last thing
paperwork.
that I say
She's
to
like
be
me
that
when
from
I
the
get
very
bored
bottom of my
on
heart,
Twitter on Mark.
with every fiber in my being. How
She's
sorry
checking
I
her
am,
LinkedIn
and
account,
that
her
I take full
eBay.
responsibility for my actions. Hopefully one day you will be able to forgive me, but I know forgiveness must be earned.
No, I'm with the
Regardless of
dad.
whether that
Screw
day ever
you.
comes.
Yeah.
Please know
Yeah.
that I will always be devastated, deeply ashamed, and terribly sorry for what I have done. I pray God stands by the side of my victims and their family and loved ones for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Just as a note, most judges already know the sentence that they're going to
Yeah.
pass before
The
this.
state, I was going to hear from the state regarding the defense request for credit for home detention pursuant to 241340 or house arrest.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, please report.
Yes,
The state's opposed to that credit,
Tell me
although,
why.
well, Your Honor, the state's position is that pretrial detention, incarcerations manifestly different than being at home, being able to
What does
stand.
the statute say though, and what's the legislature say about the statute? Why did they amend the statute?
The statute leaves it in the court's discretion, understanding that
Happening.
it's the court's
All this
decision to
tweaking.
make. I'm just conveying the position of the state. Although it is in your discretion, it is, it may be granted according to statute. That the state sees that pretrial detention is different than house arrest.
What was, it's my understanding, and I don't have the bond order in front of me, and I apologize.
I'm just gonna skip. This is just
the House
inconsiderate
period
communication.
of-
Permission first, 2023. Your
He
Honor.
looks like Tim Burchett.
And what was
I feel like that's an insult to Tim Burton.
so she, that was it.
Or Helena Bottom
Be
Carter.
pursuant to the requirements of sled maintenance on the GPS.
So she had to go someplace.
On the
That signed ours passed. A report where Scram Monitor residents due to, but I signed the original modified order on May 17th of 2024. What you residents decided, I appreciate it. The original bond order was entered, and the hearing was, you said, an emergency court was the.
That's correct.
Let's get to the
And so that was what?
Inspected once a month, so she was at my office for about 20, 30 minutes at most, once a month.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Their chairs look really comfy.
I'm sorry. You may continue your argument regarding web court.
Crash in court. Your Honor.
is now 3:49, was 5 minutes on the aisle. 3:54, we'll be back at 3:54.
Let's get to it, do it.
Yes.
Presented to the court. I've listened very intently to everything that has been presented to the court, and I have taken into consideration the mitigation that has been presented. And based on what has been presented to the court, I find the following appropriate in the nature of sentencing. On the offense of reckless driving, reckless homicide, which is 2023 GS 103895, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 10 years and $5,000, provided upon the service of 10 years. So, yeah. On both counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 15 years and $5,100, provided upon the service of 15 years. And on the offense of felony DUI with death, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 25 years and $10,100, provided upon the service of 20
Baker, can we back up a little bit?
Sentences are concurrent with one another. You get
Oh,
I
and
didn't
it's
hear all those
concurrent.
numbers.
Sorry.
No, that wasn't a you. I didn't realize she was given like all of the numbers like that quickly.
And based on what has been presented to the court, I find the following appropriate in the nature of sentencing. On the offense of reckless driving, reckless homicide, which is 2023 GS 103895, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 10 years and $5,000, provided upon the service of 10 years. So, yeah. On both counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 15 years and $5,100, provided upon the service of 15 years. And on the offense of felony DUI with death, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 25 years and $10,100, provided upon the service of 25 years. These sentences are concurrent with one another. You get credit pursuant to 241340 if that becomes applicable. And I think it is appropriate, and I
She was not expecting 25 years.
No.
Yeah, so she's got to at least do 25 if they're all running concurrent.
She looks so like, I thought I was going to get 10 years.
For, time spent on monitored house arrest, and it was contemplated that a person
All
get
concurrent,
credit
yes,
if they're
Valhalla.
basically in jail at home.
Yeah.
And based on how Ms. Komoroski's home detention was structured, she was in jail, but for being.
As a note,
at
there was
home. And I
two
think it is
15-year
appropriate
sentences
to
because there was two
receive credit
charges.
for any time served
Oh,
unmonitored house
So it was
arrest
10, 15,
or home
15, and
detention.
then
Those
25,
terms in my
but
mind
they're
are
all running
interchangeable.
concurrent.
From the period
I
of
have to
31
be quiet. She has an outburst.
through the present. And
Oh.
we'll calculate that and place it on her sentencing sheets. Again, these sentences are concurrent. I've ordered the ATU if it is available to her, and she will get credit for any time served pursuant to 241340. Thank you all for your time and your attention today. Have a good afternoon. And I will leave the clearance of the courtroom to security, so I would ask that everyone stay in place and allow Major Bernstead and those who are assisting him. Ma'am, you may want to leave any valuables you have with your family. Leave that to them, so I would ask that everyone stay seated until the security does what they need to do in terms of clearing the courtroom. And if Mr. Curry and his client are present, as soon as y'all get through doing that, if y'all could bring him in so we can take care of his matter as well.
There's no outburst. Sue, is it coming?
I think it's still coming. You can kind of hear it.
Is there, I guess, time for good behavior, Jedi Jess, or
Everyone
I
will
don't
turn their
know.
heads, then start shuffling out, and then you hear her again. Okay, this is Sue said. Depends on the state. Some states do good behavior, some states don't.
Okay.
That's the husband, little D.
The mom not reaching out to her daughter's grieving husband. Way to go, Mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, also, I did see you do daggers to him, ma'am. Nice try.
Come on.
Come on, I want to see an outburst.
Sue promised us an outburst. People started shuffling now.
All right.
Yep. Well, you can hear something. Oh, there's the head turns.
And is Mr. Do you know where Mr. Cooper and I'm trying to think who's on the other side of that case? Can you help me out?
Mr. Frazier?
Yeah, are they?
I don't know if they're here, I can send a message.
Could you find out for me? That would be very helpful.
Yes, Your Honor.
I appreciate it.
That wasn't much of an outburst, if that was it.
And she's probably yelling, Daddy, you told me if I plead, I'd only get 10 years.
Looks like they're gone out. 25 years in prison with time off for how long she's already been spending. So that's roughly 2 years.
Yeah.
That means she will be out at the ripe age of 51 years if you can't do the 2/3, 85%, 62%, whatever
Yeah.
it is in South Carolina, if they have one of those. Strong, harsh. I don't know. It's stupid how it actually works for her that she was drunk when she unalived someone, because then it's all of a sudden seen a different way. I find that ridiculous. We have it in Denmark, and we always end up talking about it when it happens, when people are drunk driving or drug driving. And again, how much time is enough time to pay for another man's life? In Denmark, we don't do the life for life thing. We do like 12 years normally. I had a school classmate who lost 2 kids to her ex-husband. It doesn't go away no matter how long time he spends in there. It's for you, for the vengeance. Yes, you would probably say a life for a life, but we also claim to be compassionate and be forgiving, and you have to serve your time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid that it's concurrent. When she did 4 crimes, she should do 4 times. Then she could make it
Yeah.
less, but I know in Denmark, the more crime you do, the less time you'll get per crime. That's how we do it. So if you
Yeah,
have
I mean,
had made these times, if it's 15 years for the first, then it's not 45 years in total. You'll get like 30 years because
So it
yeah,
says that she can earn a maximum of 36 days of good behavior credits if it's a parolable offense, which I would think that it is, but I could be wrong.
yeah,
I
I mean,
don't know.
it's easy to say what we would all do in these people's, situation, these parents, whether we would forgive, whether we would ask for leniency, whether we'd be like the dad and tell her, if I go to hell for hating you for the rest of my life, I'll open the
Yeah.
doors when you get here. I'm pretty sure that's the way I would go,
Yeah,
but
but again, it's
it's hard to say.
yeah. And Karina, yeah, thank you so much. It's 21 hours since we started our day together. And happy another time for your birthday. Well, it's not your birthday anymore. It's 38 minutes past your birthday. But thank you so much for joining us. And we had a long day. We had 2 trials and Baker by Night stream. Hui.
Yeah.
And
You've
we
done
had
a lot today.
and we had an
Yeah.
aborted stream as well because the Aiden thing, someone didn't get Zoom links.
Hey,
What?
I tried finding it.
Marissa. Why
Uh-huh.
did the bride's mother so turn on the groom? That is so wrong.
Grief does weird things for you.
Yeah,
Grief
and maybe she
and
pulled her head out of her behind, but it's
grief and the
still,
almighty dollar was probably the reason.
yeah, that and everyone thought she looked a bit cahoonty.
Mm.
Yeah.
She seemed
She-
very dependent on her daughter in
Yeah.
an unhealthy way.
Yeah, I think she was never okay with them marrying. But again,
Yeah,
what do we know?
yeah. And we're not
So
seeing people on their best days. We're seeing them on their worst. So
Yeah.
try to. And we all dealt with Sarah Boone right before this, so maybe we're a little bit pissed off at everyone.
Our condometer was very high already.
Yeah.
I don't know how the rules are in South Carolina. 25 is a little light. Yeah, 25 for the unalived. Well, again, by Danish standards, you
Yeah.
wouldn't get that much for DUI hit and run, or not run because she didn't run anywhere. She was standing right next to the car. But I would say the concurrent part, so she gets off scot-free for the 3 great bodily injuries. I would probably say at least have one of them, and then all 3 of those could run concurrently. So you'll end up with 40 years total. That, in
Yeah.
my mind, the way I don't know how you do
Yeah.
math in the sentencing department, but we have this weird thing where we don't give. You give like 1 month, 60 days, 3 months, half a year. You don't give. You hardly ever give 4 months. It's so weird, and you give 2 weeks or a month. You never give. It's really weird. Almost never a month, and you never give 7 months. If you're past 6 months, it's either 9 months or a year. It's so that's why my head math is 40 years. That's just how I think it.
Yeah. So looking at it, it looks like because she's sentenced to an offense that's over 20 years, that's punishable by 20 years or more, her last offense there, she can't do the 85% or get time or like get a good behavior credit.
Oh, and she must have known that going in because that's why she got the look like 25 years.
Mm-hmm. So had it only been like the 10 and the 15s, she would have been eligible to do the 85% and get good behavior credits. But because it's 25, she's not eligible for that.
I
She's gonna
mean,
serve the whole thing
she
by the
was
looks
all
of
about
it.
taking accountability till that 25 came down.
Yeah, then her face dropped and she figured out, oh, I'm not getting a sweetheart deal like the lawyers promised me. They said take accountability and everything will be fine. Iris, I
Mhm.
regret you weren't there because my tip swear jar would have been full.
Yeah.
As always, no, thank you all for sticking out with us for this wonderful long
Yes.
day. And
Yeah.
do me a little favor while you're still contemplating life and why you shouldn't drink and drive, no matter if it's in Canton and you're a cop or anywhere else. The link to most channels is in this description. You are all already, of course, supporting Mo, but just make sure that YouTube didn't remove you because I lost 100 subs this month. So maybe YouTube's up to shenanigans. Maybe my content is just that bad. But go check out Mo's. That's not bad.
Thank you so much.
It's not like me.
Yeah. Well, Baker just needs to go to sleep now. He's up past midnight for us. We need to send our Baker off to bed so he can wake
It's
up in
gotta be
2
what, 1?
hours.
I have
For
to do
you?
it now because now even Zach can understand it.
Yeah, it's 1.
Oh,
Almost 2.
Real
Holy hell.
numbers. Yeah, go to bed, Baker.
Tomorrow, it looks like. Did you read more into it? I just skimmed the headlines. It looks like
I can.
a love trouble gone wrong.
Well, you'll love
The-
it. It's an
a man-
ex-coroner.
A man who's a coroner used his office to get rid of his wife boyfriend. So
As you do. I mean, if you have a cold freezer around, I mean, why take
Hey, if you have lemons,
make lemonade?
drink tequila.
Oh. Well, yeah.
It's if you have limes, you drink tequila.
Oh, I don't know.
Limes and tequila go together.
See, I'm not even that much of a drinker, so I'm like, sure, drink vodka with everything. Bye, guys.
Oh, you're so kind.
I sent you the link, Mo, for the article on that case.
Oh,
But,
thank you so much.
We will hopefully one of the brainiacs will figure out if it's going tomorrow and if it's live stream because right now I can't. It's 20.
Yeah, it's
now
almost 2
it's
a.m.
exactly 21
It's way
hours since
past
I
his
got out of
bedtime.
bed. I'm getting
Ooh.
punch drunk right now.
Don't drive. I'm pretty sure you can still get convicted.
I'll drive right in on the other side of that wall. That's my bedroom. So,
Oh, I feel that in my soul.
the worst is my back is hurting like hell right now because I've been sitting so long. But we'll be back tomorrow. No crying in baseball, as they say. Mo, you get the opportunity.
Hey guys, Mo in the deep end here. I do mornings with Mo at 8 a.m. We do all of the absurdities, some true headlines, some, true crime headlines, and then the absurdity that the universe and 2024 can serve. And then tomorrow we will be starting our speed run of the Tony Todd trial. This is a trial that's several years old, but it does tie in to what we are watching on Legal Shenanigans Theater. So if you want to watch an old case with a jerk face, it's Tony Todd tomorrow with me. I probably won't be the jerk face. It depends.
Hey guys, so you'll see me in Discord a lot and in chat a lot. We do have craft and chat night this week on Thursday at 6 p.m. And yes, I double checked it, Danny, so I actually have it up so that way I get it right. And that's with Danny T and I, and we just kind of hang out in the Discord, and some of us craft, some of us don't, some of us just chat, and we learn a lot about Iris's life. It's funny. So come hang out and have fun with us.
Only the parts of her life where statutes of limitation have entered. And thank you,
Yeah.
Iris. Yes, Jemima sends the good links. Actually, I sent the link to Jemima, and now she can send it on. And I love that you reference. Oh, Court TV still. Yes, I sent you the article to Court TV. I don't know if you noticed.
No, their video said that opening statements are tomorrow. I don't know if their video recap.
I just hope that it's on the YouTube's, not on the website, because apparently Aiden was shown on the website today, and I don't do all those commercials. I pay for premium, so my viewers don't need the commercials.
Yeah, Glera
Other than that,
playing it.
Other than that, yeah, and I'm losing so much money by not getting those $2 in ad revenue if I had spammed you 25 times.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Let's just do it.
Bye, guys.
Hasta la taco. See you in the morning. I'll figure out when it starts tomorrow and set up a stream for it. Go to bed. God dang it.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100. Because it is 100% correct.
Checking your other.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe